After a thrilling win in extra innings on Tuesday night against the Gonzaga Bulldogs up in Spokane, the Washington State Cougars return home to Bailey Brayton Field to do battle against the San Jose State Spartans for the Decades on the Diamond Weekend series here on Parents Weekend. Hello and welcome in. I'm Davis Hagen alongside Evan Suarez, and we're thrilled to have you with us for this presentation of Washington State College baseball on KUGR. And Evan, that was such a great game on Tuesday, went to 10 innings. Washington State got the come-from-behind victory. What did we see transpire in that game, and what do we have to look forward to in this series as a whole?
Yeah, well, what we saw was 10 pitchers being used by WSU that game. 10 pitchers through 10 innings. First pitcher did not quite make it out of the first inning, letting up 5 earned runs in the first inning. But that just shows you the knit and grit of this team to, down 5 runs on the road early. That can always get in your head. And you almost kind of want to give up and just say, all right, the game's over. But no, that was not the case at all, as it seems that Kyler Northrup now has taken over starting position at third, with the outfield getting shifted around a little bit. So Max Hartman's in center. And gosh, who's in left field? I just blanked on it. Abenar moved from second to left field, so Luke Thiel will be at second base taking his spot. But Northrop got his first extra base hit of the game, or of the year, I should say, in that game, as well as he picked up his first RBI, which got the Cougs running in the third inning. Gavin Roy hit his third home run of the year. So it was a very exciting game to watch. And then the 10th inning rolls around, the first extra innings game since the very first game of the season for the Cougs. This time, though, the Cougs ended up on the better side with a final score of 7-6. Rylan Hyder closed out that game, pitching the last 2, giving up 1 for a little bit of a scare in the bottom of the 10th. But nonetheless, the Cougs did hang on to win because of Rico Longo's RBI, 2 RBI single in the top of the 10th. But as of ahead of today's game, the Cougs ace Griffin Smith will be on the bump for the Cougs, facing off against Nolan George, who me and Davis were reading up upon earlier before the game. And he looks like he comes from a heritage of baseball players there. Grandpa was drafted to the MLB as well as his dad. So Nolan George got some footsteps to follow there, but he's got a 3.94 ERA with a 2-1 record on the year, as well as Griffin Smith's rocking a 4.81 record, not the lowest, but he's got a 3-2 record in the 8 games that he's appeared. And it's always fun watching Griffin Smith deal on the bump here in a sunny day. Hopefully it'll get a little more sunnier, but here in Bailey Brayton, gotta love it. Good day for baseball.
It's a great day for baseball, and the last couple of days on the Palouse have not been that fortuitous. Yesterday saw some rain, snow, and hail on the Palouse, but today a very beautiful day, sunny skies. Kind of looks like San Jose if you were to just take a picture of it, but if you're actually standing out in the wind, it's a little bit colder than that. But yeah, you mentioned Nolan George. His grandfather James George was drafted by the Oakland Athletics in 1971, and then his dad Taylor got drafted by the Mets in 2001. So maybe Nolan can be that next George to get out there on the big stage, but he's a talented pitcher. As you mentioned, he's got really good stats coming to this game, and it could be a low-scoring affair here in game number 1 of 3 of this series against San Jose State. Today is 70s night, so all the pregame music was from the 70s, and I imagine most music in between the innings and stuff is going to be the 70s, and then tomorrow it moves to the 80s, and then on Sunday, the 90s to close out the series. And San Jose State coming into this series is 17-12 overall, 5-4 in the Mountain West. Washington State 10-18 overall, 4-5 in the Mountain West. So it's a very critical series at this point in this season. Right about halfway through the year, Washington State needs to be able to propel themselves up if they want to make a good run at the Mountain West Championship. A team in San Jose State that won the championship back in 2023 and ended up going to the NCAA tournament. They didn't win any game in the tournament. They went 0-2 and dropped out immediately, but a very talented squad indeed. And let's get to the starting lineups first with the San Jose State Spartans. Batting first is the right fielder, Alex Fernandez. Batting second, Antonio Nanez. Batting third, Zach Chamizo. Batting fourth, Rocco Caballero. Number 5, batting in the 5th spot, Jariah Lewis. And then batting in the 6th spot, Jake McCoy. Batting 7th, JC Agard Osorio. Batting 8th, Neil Jansen. And batting 9th, Jake Maroney. And now Washington State's defense takes the field, and we mentioned it. The left fielder, Max Hartman, now moving to play center field. Cole Watterson goes into the dugout, and then Ollie Obenauer shifts over to left field, and then Luke Thiel has to go into second base, and then it's just all craziness. And third base, Kyler Northrup, he's back into the lineup at third. He started the year at third and had a couple of games with multiple errors, and then that's when he didn't have as much opportunity. But now he's back in the lineup, and he's batting in the nice spot. So now let's go through the Washington State starting lineup. Batting first, Max Hartman. He's been one of the best players on the diamond for the Washington State Cougars all year. Batting second, Ollie Obenauer, the standout freshman. He's been great, but he's going to be playing left field instead of second base in these next coming up in these next couple of games, and he's playing them in the last few games. He's been doing well, but I imagine that's just got to play with your mind a little bit, being in a totally different spot than what you're used to. Batting third, Ryan Shonsby, playing first base. Batting fourth, Logan Johnstone, the big bat, the cleanup spot for Washington State. He's going to have a big series if Washington State wants to win this one. And then batting fifth, Will Cresswell, the catcher. He's had a sensational season so far for Washington State. Going to be curious to see how he fares in this game alone, and if he gets another opportunity in this series, as they've been kind of playing multiple catchers throughout this season. Batting sixth, the shortstop, Gavin Roy. Batting seventh, Rico Longo, the designated hitter. As you mentioned, he had a great game on Tuesday, helping Washington State get that win. And then batting eighth, the second baseman, Luke Thiel. And then the last spot, the 9-hole hitter, Kyler Northrup, the third baseman for Washington State. It's a sunny day. The clouds kind of spotting throughout, but they're just very thin and very wispy clouds. So it's not like you got that giant storm cloud coming right to your face like it was yesterday. I had a chance to do some Pullman games yesterday, and it was cold, and it was not forgiving out on the Palouse.
Yeah, no, I can only imagine you sitting over there and this. Props to all the broadcasters out there who have to sit outside and get under the no tent, as they say, and you got the rain dealing and the papers are all getting wet.
Yeah. And so here we go. It'll be Alex Fernandez to lead it off, with Griffin Smith offering the first pitch, and that is in there for strike number one. 84-mile-per-hour pitch right down the middle to get an 0-1 count against Alex Fernandez. Here's the 0-1 pitch from Smith, and that is a little bit low for ball number one. So the count goes to 1-1 against Fernandez, who's batting a .404 average so far this season. He's a very talented player, and his on-base percentage is over 500. So he gets on base quite a bit. A 1-1 pitch is in for strike number two, right down the middle again, and Fernandez watches it go and takes a smile at the umpire, letting him know that he didn't quite agree with that one, but that was right down the middle.
Yeah, I was going to say, it looked like a strike all the way up here too.
Here's the 1-2 pitch to Fernandez, and he'll foul this one off down the third baseline, and he'll stay alive. The count stays at 1-2 against Fernandez. And when you're batting over 400 on the year, you've just got to be pretty confident coming into the game, especially in that leadoff spot. You're kind of setting the tone for the series. You're the first batter of this 3-game weekend series. The 1-2 pitch to Fernandez from Smith, and that is fouled off again down the left field line and out into the stands. And the people around Pullman kind of getting up to come out for this series as the sun has come out, but it's also Parents Weekend, so something to do with their parents, and the crowd filling in slowly. Even as the game's starting, there's more people starting to file in. So a 1-2 count against Fernandez. He's fouled off a couple of times. Here's a pitch from Smith, and that is a little bit low and outside for ball number two. So the count goes to 2-2 against Fernandez.
Yeah, Fernandez got 22 walks on the year, so I was going to say, may see a long at bat here.
Right, yeah. He's definitely a guy that is going to take his chances on getting walked and stay in there. He's going to foul this one down the first baseline, and the count will stay at 2-2. And I can only imagine that Fernandez knows that anytime he gets something hanging over the plate, he's just going to take a whack at it and try to get a base hit. And he's only hit 4 doubles this year and 3 triples so far this season. Definitely a base hit kind of guy, trying to get on to lead off this day for San Jose State. Here's the 2-2 pitch from Smith, and that is strike number 3. He gets him looking, and he puts him down for the first out of the inning, the first out of the day. Good pitch from Griffin Smith, and that'll bring up number 6, Antonio Nanez, the second baseman, batting right.
That was a great battle there from Griffin Smith. Didn't let all those, I believe it was like 4 foul balls get in his head, and comes back and just paints that outside corner.
Yeah. Good start for Griffin Smith, Washington State's ace. Here's the first offering to Nanez, and is a high fly ball out to right field, and Johnstone easily under it for the second out of the inning. So 2 up and 2 down so far for the San Jose State Spartans. And Chamizo coming up next, wearing number 23, the senior for San Jose State Spartans from Lincoln, California. A lot of these players for the San Jose State Spartans from the state of California, but a couple spattered throughout the United States. Here's the first pitch to Chamizo, and that is low for ball number 1. The count goes to 1-0 with 2 outs, nobody on for the San Jose State Spartans. No score yet here, just in the top of the first inning. The first game of the series between the Cougs and the Spartans. The next pitch is outside into the left batter's box, and the count goes to 2-0.
No batting gloves rock style here for Chamizo. All natural,
old school style. Here's the pitch and a swing and a miss from Chamizo, and that was an aggressive swing, but he missed it, and the count goes to 2-1 with 2 outs, nobody on. Washington State's put 2 up and 2 down so far. Smith with the 2-1 pitch and a hot hit to second base and a diving catch made by Luke Thiel. And they record the 3rd out of the inning in as many batters, and it's no hits, no runs, no errors, nobody left on for the San Jose State Spartans as we head to the bottom of the first inning. You're listening to Washington State Baseball on KUGR. No score as we enter the bottom of the first inning. Washington State and San Jose State going at it in the first game of the 3-game weekend series here in the first weekend of April. It's a great time to be a Coug, and the sun is shining on the diamond. San Jose State wearing the all-gray uniforms with a yellow stripe down the pants, and Washington State wearing the home whites with a red trim and red numbers, and it's a beautiful day for Max Hartman to lead it off in the bottom of the first inning for the Washington State Cougars, and he's hoping that the sun brings good vibes to his bat. His baby blue barrel steps into the batter's box to face Nolan George, and the leadoff man for Washington State, Max Hartman, with Ollie Obenauer and Ryan Shonsby due up after him. And the first pitch is a shown bunt from Hartman, and it's in for strike number 1. The count goes to 0-1 against Hartman, the preseason All-Mountain West player, batting an average of .351 so far this year. Here's the offering from George, and a high fly ball out to right, back at the wall, and it is going to be caught on the warning track. So Max Hartman shows bunt and then unloads, but it gets caught at the warning track, and if there was a little bit of wind pushing it, that probably could have gone.
I was going to say, looks like the right fielder's first step was actually in, and it kind of got crossed up there. So he threw me off. I was like, oh, it's an easy fly out, but I was like, whoa, that thing's got some carry to it.
Yeah, he did step in. Fernandez ends up making the catch. So the first out is recorded for San Jose State. And Ollie Obenauer up next. Here's a pitch from George, and a foul ball back down towards the San Jose State dugout on the first base side, and it flies towards the new indoor practice facility for the Washington State Cougars. So Ollie Obenauer, the freshman, started pretty much all year at second base, and he's done fantastic, but now moved out to left field. And he's going to crush this one into right center field into the gap, and he's going to get down for a base hit. And Ollie Obenauer gets a hit on his first plate appearance of the day against Nolan George, and they got a runner on for the Washington State Cougars, and that'll bring up Ryan Shonsby, the third batter for Washington State, batting left-handed, and now Ollie Obenauer at first, and a base runner on for Washington State, so they already get a hit here.
Yeah, Ollie's hitting great on the year, hitting .311. I'm sure that average just went up a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Him, Max, and Will, as well as Logan Johnstone, the only ones hitting above 300 on the year, so good to see the freshman doing that.
Here's the pitch from George to Shonsby, and it's in for strike number 1 as Ollie Obenauer returns to first base after the first strike against Ryan Shonsby. the junior from Long Beach, California, playing first base for Washington State. So they got a runner on first with an 0-1 count and 1 out here in the bottom of the first inning. No score yet. Pitch from George and a high fly ball out to right. Fernandez tracks under it, and he makes the grab, and Obenauer will return to first. So Fernandez catching 2 balls out in right field now with the 2 outs here in this bottom of the first inning, both recorded by Fernandez. So this will bring up Logan Johnstone, the cleanup spot batter for Washington State, with a runner on. And Logan Johnstone is definitely a guy that can hit some home runs. He's got 5 so far this year to lead Washington State. And Obenauer gets a lead at first with a 2 outs against the Washington State Cougars. Here's the first offering from George, and that is in for strike number 1, right down the pipe, a 90-mile-an-hour pitch. And Nolan George definitely got some stuff to work with on the mound.
Yeah, it doesn't look like the biggest guy out there either. He looks like he's got the mechanics down.
Yeah, 6'1", 174 pounds. Gets everything he can out of his pitches. Here's the next one, and that is low for ball number 1. The count goes to 1-1 against Ryan Shawnsby. Obenauer still working at first. And George will lean over. Now comes set on the mound with a 1-1 count against Logan Johnstone. The wind and the delivery, and that is outside for ball number 2. So the count goes to 2-1. We got Chamizo playing first base for San Jose State, talking with Ollie Obenauer. And now he gets the lead, and the friends part for a second. So a 2-1 count against Logan Johnstone with 2 outs and a runner on. Here's the pitch from George, and that is high for ball number 3. So the count goes to 3-1. Logan Johnstone feeling good about this opportunity.
See if there's any movement over there from Ollie. He's got 6 attempts on the year, only 3 successful, but he's got speed.
3-1 count against Johnstone. Here's the pitch and a grounder to first, and it gets past the first baseman and the second baseman. Obenauer racing for third, and he's going to get there standing up, no problem. And a nice hit for Logan Johnstone, and he tips the cap to the dugout. Now 2 hits in the inning so far, and they got runners in the corners. Nice hit from Logan Johnstone on the 3-1 count. And that'll bring up the catcher, Will Cresswell, the senior for Washington State.
Good guy to have up at the dish here. He's got 16 ribbies on the year.
Will Cresswell batting an average of 200. He's 22 of 63 total in his at-bats this season. So a fresh count against George with runners in the corners for Washington State and 2 outs. So you're in the bottom of the first inning. No score yet. Pitch from George and a swing and a miss from Will Cresswell. Kind of pulled it back at the last second, even though he was about 3/4 of the way through.
Yeah, he got fooled on that one pretty bad.
Yeah, and he knew it immediately. Definitely regretted that one, but the count goes to 0-1 with 2 outs, runners in the corners for Washington State. George, the rise and fire on the 0-1, and that is in for strike number 2 against Cresswell. Now Washington State tempting fate here with 2 runners on and 2 strikes against Cresswell and 2 outs, trying to avoid leaving 2 runners stranded. They put in 2 hits so far in this inning, but yet to put in a run. The 0-2 pitch from George, and that is way inside, and the hips duck away from Cresswell, and it goes to 1-2. And the nickname that Chappie was talking with Will Cresswell in Texas was Crushwell, and hopefully, for his sake, that he can do that here. The 1-2 count, and is going to call time.
Yeah, not sure the reason for that time, but, maybe Will called time verbally. Sometimes they don't actually throw the hand up. They just say time, and you can't tell from back here.
Yeah, being pretty far away, hard to exactly tell. Here's the 1-2 pitch from George, and a chopper foul behind home plate. They're going to go towards the dugout for Washington State. And Gavin Roy, the shortstop, helps pick that ball up. He's the next batter up if it gets to that point, but they do have 2 outs in this inning. The bottom of the first. San Jose State in the top of the first inning went 3 up, 3 down. Didn't get any runs across Washington State. Trying to push across the first. A 1-2 count against Cresswell with 2 outs and the runners in the corners. Here's the pitch from George, and it is low, and it bounces off the catcher, and Johnstone slides into second. Looking like a slip and slide on the turf here at Bailey Brayton, and Johnstone now stands up, and he's on second. So you got 2 runners in scoring position for Washington State with a 2-2 count against Cresswell.
Yeah, I'm not sure if that goes down as a wild pitch or a stolen base, but either way, we'll take a runner on second and third.
Here's a pitch from George on a 2-2. That is high for ball number 3, and the count goes full against Will Cresswell. And Maroney, the catcher, having some trouble just trying to stay balanced. When he stands up, he's kind of teetering over a little bit, and that is partly why Logan Johnstone was able to get in there. Also, he lost the ball. That doesn't help.
Yeah.
So a 3-2 count against Cresswell. Here's the pitch, and a chopper foul down the third baseline, and Will Cresswell, if he just could have pulled that one towards the pitcher's mound and got it down the third base line, probably could have bounced over the top of the third baseman, Osorio Agar.
Totally.
That was a nice velocity straight into the dirt that probably could have popped it up enough, but it does go foul. So a 3-2 count against Cresswell with 2 runners in scoring position. And here's the next pitch, and it is high for ball number 4. Cresswell will take to first base, and Gavin Roy, the shortstop, will be up next for Washington State with the bases loaded. And he's got 13 RBIs on the year with 2 home runs. And now would be as good a time as any for Washington State to maybe add some more totals to that RBI stat.
Yeah, Choate loves this guy in the dugout. He said he's a big leadership guy in the dugout. You know, not the best on the team, but sometimes that doesn't matter in situations like this.
Here's the first offering from George, and that is inside to Gavin Roy, who stands about as close as you can get to home plate with his toes on that white line in the left batter's box, the right-handed hitter for Washington State with a 1-0 count with the bases loaded. Here's the pitch from George, and that is inside for strike number 1. The count goes to 1-1 with 2 outs. Gavin Roy will step out and stretch his arms into the air, now step back in. So 3 runners on for Washington State with just 2 hits so far in this inning, but 3 runners on, and a swing and a miss from Gavin Roy. He wanted that one, and the count goes to 1-2, and almost flew out of his shoes with that swing.
Oh, did he ever? Man, I love the new thing with 2 strikes this year that Choate has implemented. They bang their chest, look at the dugout like, don't worry, I'm not backing down.
1-2 count against Roy. Here's the pitch from George, and that is high, and Maroney snags it as he was standing up. So the count goes to 2-2 against Roy. Good eye on that one. It was pretty high. And any opportunity for Washington State to try to push across some runs. They got a bases loaded with 2 outs. Here's the 2-2 pitch and a base hit towards center field. Obenauer is going to score, and Logan Johnstone rounds for home. The relay throw wayward, and Logan Johnstone scores, and it's 2 runs for Washington State on the double RBI for Gavin Roy, who hits the double straight up to center field, and it advances Cresswell all the way to third. And so it goes 2-0 on the 3rd hit of the inning for the Washington State Cougars, and almost the perfect hit for Gavin Roy.
Yeah, that was a nice piece of hitting straight back up the middle. Not a chance anyone's making a play on that, but the throw even got away coming back in from the center fielder there, Lewis, and he was mishandled, so it allowed Roy to get safely in there second. So still more scoring opportunities here for the Cougs.
And this pitch gets away as Rico Longo stepped up to the plate, and Cresswell's going to slide in, and he's tagged out. Will Cresswell was trying to steal home on the wild pitch, and he gets tagged in the back hip.
Wow, Choate instantly out of the dugout, the challenge motion. Looks like they're going to want to take a look at this one.
That's something that you can do in the conference play, is you can challenge the call. And so Will Cresswell sliding into home on the wild pitch as Rico Longo was stepping up, and it didn't take very long for the pitch to come in, as George was just trying to immediately get this inning over after giving up 2 runs. And then Cresswell tried to get one, and they tag him on the hip. And to me, it looked like he might have been out, but wonder if the umpires will see anything different if they do end up going to review this one. As immediately he sprinted out.
Said, no.
Yeah.
We need to challenge that.
And it's a worthy challenge. I mean, if you're going to use it at some point, you're going to want to use it on a run, possibly.
Oh, 100%. Maroney looks like he's just had trouble back there all day so far with catching the ball here, whether it's stopping the ball on that one like that. I don't know if you can consider that a wild pitch at the college level. You kind of think that the guys would be able to keep that in front of them a little bit. But nonetheless, this could be another RBI for Rico Longo, quote unquote. Technically it would go down as an RBI for him. And Will Cresswell showing off some wheels, trying to score on a little pass ball there.
Yeah, so it's 2-0 Washington State as there is a review underway of this play. They've got a clock running in the about left field line and then where the scoreboard is, and now it's just been shut off. So I wonder if they've had their decision be made for them, or if they're just going to not want that there to not, put a deadline on things.
Yeah, I've never seen that little all right, make the decision. 2 minutes, you got it now.
I do feel like would be good for sports in general, for especially basketball and possibly baseball with reviews. If there is a time limit for 2 minutes to go make your decision, and if you can't come up with anything in 2 minutes, it stays as it was called. Because that's definitely not indisputable if you're taking more than 2 minutes to try to look at something. But either way, the clock is reset to the 20-second pitch clock now. But 2-0 Washington State leads after Gavin Roy got the double, and then he put in 2 runs with the excellent hit right up towards center field, and the lead grows to 2-0 for Washington State, and they're up to 3 hits so far in the inning. It's just the bottom of the first. San Jose State had a 3-up, 3-down inning to start the game, and that went by pretty quick, and now we're here, and this one was almost over, but Cresswell getting tagged out and then challenging it, and he's talking to Cresswell on the field, trying to ask him what he thinks happened on that play. And I imagine Cresswell's telling him that I scored. No doubt about it. I scored.
We know that answer over there, Coach. I'm always safe.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't have to ask the player to know that what he thinks. But, yeah, you mentioned Maroney having some troubles. The Logan Johnstone slide into second to steal that base early allowed the bases to get loaded for Washington State. He kind of let that one just bobble around in his lap, and it took him a while to track it down. And that's something that at this level in baseball you can't do. I mean, you give Washington State any sliver of an opportunity, they're going to take it with the amount of speed that they have on their team.
Oh, for sure. I don't think there's a single guy on the team besides maybe Will Cresswell or Ryan Shawnsby, obviously being the bigger guys, the catcher, first base. Those are the big boys on the team. But nonetheless, everyone else can run pretty decently fast on this team. And, stolen bases have been – the Cougs are second in the Mountain West in stolen bases. So, you always got to – as an opposing pitcher, I can imagine, you let someone on first base, you can just kind of sense them over your little shoulder that you're pitching. Like, you never know when they're going to go.
Right.
But as we were saying about that little 2-minute timer, I totally agree with you on that. And I think that, if you can't make a decision in 2 minutes, whether it's, an out of bounds call in basketball or a fair or foul ball in baseball, or is he safe or not? It's like, does it really take this long to decide if he is going to be safe or not? Was a tag there in time? If not, if it's a 50-50, I think you just, you got to go with the call in the field. Obviously, if it's not enough evidence to overturn it, that's the written rule. You stay with the call in the field. There's got to be enough evidence to overturn the call. So based on how long this is taking, I'd be very shocked to see this call overturned and Cresswell safe, but not saying I wouldn't mind the call being overturned.
Yeah, anytime it takes quite a while, I would imagine that they're just trying to, and it's not like in baseball you have the time to make sure you don't have to reset any sort of clock. You're just seeing if the tag was there in time. And when Cresswell was coming in, he definitely didn't quite get a slow start necessarily, but it was really close. It was about as close as it can get. Obviously, he was called out, so the ball was kind of trickling down. It was probably about 15 feet towards the dugout for Washington State, and then Maroney ended up going to track it down. But to me, it seemed like Cresswell was just a little bit slow, a little bit late to react on the wild pitch. And by the time he realized it, then he was sprinting down, and he was still almost there. And so they do confirm the call that he is out. And so the inning is over on the home plate steal attempt from Will Cresswell, as the umpires have made their decision. He is out, and that'll bring us to the top of the second inning. Washington State brings across 2 runs on 3 hits, no errors, and 2 runners left on base for the Cougars. We head to the top of the second inning. It's Washington State 2, San Jose State nothing. You're listening to Washington State Baseball on KUGR. Heading to the bottom of the top of the second inning, as we are just early into this game for Washington State and San Jose State doing battle in this weekend series. It's Spartan 0, Washington State 2, and Griffin Smith delivering the first pitch. That is high for ball number 1 to Caballero, who's leading it off. And then coming up next, Jariah Lewis and Jake McCoy for the Spartans. Here's the pitch from Smith, and that is outside for ball number 2. So count goes to 2-0 here in the top of the second inning between the Spartans and the Cougars. Will Cresswell got called out on the stolen base attempt towards home to end that bottom of the first inning. This next pitch is a strike right down the middle for Griffin Smith, and the count goes to 2-1.
Looks like Parker Garrett has made his way into Bailey Brayton Field here.
Couple of basketball players here. I saw Isaiah Watts earlier with Case Wynot. His next pitch is in for strike number 2. But Parker Garrett's probably a fan favorite, saying that he'd never cheat on the Cougs.
Yep.
And it's a 2-2 count for Caballero. And here's a pitch and a swing and a miss, but it's going to be a tip foul for Caballero, and it goes to 2-2.
Yeah, Garrett's one of the few guys on the WSU basketball team that will be staying here. Hopefully he'll get some more minutes for that, you know?
Right, yeah, you'd think. I mean, he's done it now twice in a row.
Mm-hmm.
The 2-2 pitch from Smith, and a chopper to third, fielded, and the fire to first is in time, and they get the out. A nice play by Kyler Northrup to make the sliding grab, the turn, and then the fire to Shonsby at first, and they record the out. And Washington State gets the first out of the inning and the first batter, and that'll bring up Jariah Lewis.
Well, that was actually really a heck of a play there. I thought he almost cut off Gavin Roy, but he got up and made that throw with some authority on it.
It was right in between short and third, and Gavin Roy definitely capable of making that play. Here's the first pitch to Lewis, and it's a high fly ball out to right center field. Logan Johnstone tracking under it, and he makes the catch against the wall. Logan Johnstone with the athletic play for Washington State, and they record the second out of the inning. And they've had 5 batters faced and 5 outs so far in this game. A tremendous start on the defensive side for the Cougars.
What a catch out there by Johnstone. I mean, that thing had some carry to it. Like you said, with the Max Hartman one, a little breeze, and both of those balls might have gotten out of here.
And that'll bring up Jake McCoy, wearing number 16 for San Jose State. Here's the offering, and is a high fly ball out to left field. This one tracking back to the fence, and it is gone. And it's a home run for Jake McCoy on the first offering from Griffin Smith, and a home run for the Spartans gives them their first run of the day. And Jake McCoy touches them all, and that one was a rocket off the bat of McCoy. And it's very similar to those other plays, and that one time it just gets the little extra carry it needed and goes over the fence.
Yeah, that was absolutely hammered. That one almost cleared those little trees over there in left field. Great swing, though. Good pitch, just better swing.
J.C. Osorio-Agard up next for the San Jose State Spartans, the first baseman. And the first pitch is a strike right in there. So a home run for San Jose State after they had 5 up and 5 down in the first, basically 2 2/3 inning. And now they have a run across. Here's the pitch from Smith on an 0-1. Swing and a miss from Osorio-Agard, and count goes to 0-2 with 2 outs. So San Jose State, with their first hit of the game, gets a home run and their first run put across. Pitch from Smith, and a high fly ball out to right field. Logan Johnstone's going to make the catch, and that will end the inning. So it goes to 2-1. Washington State still in front. It was 1 run on 1 hit. No errors, nobody left on for the San Jose State Spartans as we head to the bottom of the second inning. Washington State leads it 2-1. You're listening to Washington State Baseball on KUGR. Bottom of the second inning, Washington State leads it 2-1 over San Jose State. They just put in a home run from Jake McCoy to left field. It was a really nice hit off his bat, and Griffin Smith gives up another home run on the year. So Griffin Smith has now given up 9 home runs this season, and it'll bring up Rico Longo for Washington State with Luke Thiel and Kyler Northrup. The next batters up for Washington State here. The bottom of the second inning, Cougars lead it 2-1. They have the advantage in the hit department, 3-1 over San Jose State. So Rico Longo had his opportunity ended by Cresswell in the first inning, and he's going to show a bunt here and a chopper back up to the pitcher's mound. George fields it and fires to first, and it is in time to get Rico Longo out. And so the first batter of the bottom of the second inning goes back to the dugout with Rico Longo. And Luke Thiel will be up next for Washington State, playing second base today for the Cougars. But Rico Longo finally got another opportunity after Will Cresswell tried to steal home in the bottom of the first. He got tagged out. Then a review happened, and then play got resumed for San Jose State on the next opportunity. And Thiel takes strike 1 from George, and then they go 4 batters and then 3 outs. But Jake McCoy was able to put in a home run. Here's a pitch from George on an 0-1, and that is strike number 2 to Luke Thiel. So count goes to 0-2 quickly against Thiel, and you blink, you miss it so far in this game.
Yeah, wow. We're almost halfway through this inning.
And a chopper to short, fielded by Caballero, and the fire to first is in time, just barely for Luke Thiel. He was trying to sprint that one out, but the rocket arm of the shortstop for San Jose State gets him, and it's 2 up, 2 down for Washington State, and that'll bring up Kyler Northrup, the 9-hole hitter. Here at the bottom of the order for Washington State, playing third base for the Cougars. Started at third base earlier this year, and he's back in the lineup.
2 nice plays already from both sides, the Cougs and now the Spartans, as on the left side of the infield. You know, you got to throw that thing pretty far to first base.
The first pitch was low for a ball, and the next pitch is a base hit out to left field for Northrup, and an excellent hit right into where there's nobody out there in left field. And McCoy will grab it and fire it in on the relay, but Northrup gets to first easily, and another hit for Washington State, their 4th of the game. And that'll bring up Max Hartman, the top of the order, back up for Washington State. 0 for 1 today.
Northrup proving his spot here in the lineup at the bottom. You know, you'd love to see those guys getting hits down there.
Here's the first offering to Hartman from George, and a swing and a miss is strike number 1 for Max Hartman. So count goes to 0-1 against number 23 in all white. Washington State were in the all whites. San Jose State in their grays with the blue caps. George staring him down. The 0-1 pitch tipped foul back into the brand new netting here at Bailey Brayton Field for the enhanced fan experience. And the old net was kind of getting pretty raggedy, so they go ahead and replace that. And now it's nice and clear. I wouldn't even really be able to tell, you know, kind of like a bird. They can't see glass. We almost can't see this net. So count goes to 0-2 against Max Hartman with 2 outs and Northrup at first. Here's the 0-2 from George. Swing and a miss from Hartman, and that will end the inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 base runner left on. Kyler Northrup stranded at first, and we head to the top of the 3rd inning. You're listening to Washington State Baseball on KUGR.
All right, everybody, welcome back here to Bailey Brayton Field, where the score is 2-1 in favor of the home team, Washington State Cougars. That score was changed the last inning in the top of the second thanks to a solo shot to left field by left fielder Jake McCoy of the Spartans, cutting the lead in half now. Cougs still hold on to a 1-run lead as leadoff hitter Neil Jansen, designated hitting for the Spartans, will make his way into the right-handed batter's box to face Griffin Smith. His first pitch of the top of the third is in there on the outside corner for strike one. Good spot to be. 0-1 the count now to Neil Jansen. Jansen's hitting .214 on the year, and here comes the 0-1 from Smith. Looks like that was down the middle, and it was. First strike number 2 on an 88-mile-an-hour heater.
Good start to this inning for Griffin Smith so far. He's played a really nice day for Washington State, trying to keep it going.
Just like the weather, nice day here for Smith as that 0-2 misses high and outside for ball 1. 1-2 the count. Jansen's got 9 hits on the year, as well as 10 strikeouts. So maybe a strikeout incoming. He's got more strikeouts than hits, but here comes the 1-2 now from Smith on the way outside for ball 2. 2-2 the count on a heater that got away from Griffin Smith. Very fast game so far going here as we're already in the top of the third. The 2-2 on the way, swung on, ground ball up the middle. See a tough play here for Roy on the run to first. In time, though, as the big Sean makes that catch over there and make it look like not a problem. Good play there from Gavin Roy to get the first out of the inning.
Yeah, I feel like that's Gavin Roy in a nutshell. You just don't think anybody can possibly make that play. It's coming in hot off the mound, and then Gavin Roy just somehow backhand shields it and then fires it to first quick and just so fluid. The way he moves is pretty impressive.
100%. That brings up the 9-hole hitter for the Spartans, their catcher, Jake Maroney, who we were mentioning had little problems there in the first inning, keeping that ball in front of him. The first pitch to his at-bat is swung on and missed. Looks like that was foul tipped. As we know, Will Cresswell wouldn't just drop that one. Foul tipped out of the mitt for strike number 1 there to Jake Maroney. Mixing up names here. Griffin Smith working fast here, as most Cougars pitchers do work pretty fast there on the bump. Here comes the 0-1 on the way. Looks like that's in there, and it is on the outside part of the plate. So quickly again, back-to-back hitters here for Smith. 0-2 the count, now with 1 gone. Chair chants are being crowded here, or chanted by the fans, and he wanted it there. Ooh, looks like just on the outside part for ball 1, just missed by a hair. Home plate umpire Tim Vesey wouldn't give the benefit of the doubt here for the Coug faithful. 1-2 on the way from Smith. Swung on. Looks like that'll be up the middle for a base hit. Oh, yeah, there's no way you're going to throw that out. Good effort, though, there by Luke Thiel, as he ends up almost in left field there. His momentum taking him all the way over there to Ollie Albenar to say, hey, man, maybe you would have made that play.
Yeah, that's one of the things with this kind of, if the ball bounces a little bit to the right or a little bit to the left like it did when Gavin Roy made that play, it bounced very similarly but took a little angle to Roy, and that's just a split second it takes to be thrown out in this kind of division with Division I baseball players. They can rocket that thing in there pretty quick, and all it takes is one little bounce.
Oh, totally. Brings up the leadoff hitter Alex Fernandez, who struck out looking in the top of the first as Griffin Smith checks on Maroney there, the catcher at first base. Sean's sends it back to Smith now to get the at-bat started here for Alex Fernandez, hitting .400 on the year. One of the better leadoff hitters in the Mountain West. Showing bunt, pulls it back as that ball just misses outside for ball 1. A lot of bunts being shown here between both teams so far. Strategic baseball, some might say. Looks like Fernandez is also stepping pretty close onto that white chalk, artificial chalk, I should say, of the batter's box. Next pitch on the way, showing bunt again, but misses outside for ball 2. 2-0 the count. From Smith to Fernandez. Fernandez had a long at-bat, 8-pitch at-bat there in the first inning. Went down looking. Next at-bat, next pitch, misses outside again. So looks like Smith trying to paint that outside corner there to their best hitter, Alex Fernandez. Can't blame the guy. All right, Maroney takes his lead at first. 3-0 count. 1 gone, though. Looks to a ground ball. That ball is in there for a strike. Catches the high and outside corner there from Griffin Smith. Good spot to be at. Count moved to 3-1 now.
I don't think Fernandez uses his words. He just uses his smile. Every time there's something he doesn't like, he just kind of turns and smiles to the home plate umpire.
All right, 3-1. Nope, never mind. Checks on the runner there with a pickoff move to first. He's in there safely. Shawnsby fires it back to Griffin Smith. Fernandez back into the left-handed batter's box. Maroney takes his lead back at first. Smith, big deep breath. The 3-1 on the way. Swung on, fouled. Here we go. Maybe another battle here between these two. These two are duking it out like they did back in the top of the first. 3-2, though. The count has run full. See if Smith can get out of this at-bat here with a double play to end the inning. All right, the 3-2 now from Griffin. Runner takes off, swung on, ground ball, so that'll eliminate the double play, a little hit-and-run situation. But Luke Thiel makes the play and retires Alex Fernandez. Smart heads up play there from the San Jose coaches there to get a little hit-and-run on a 3-2 count with one gone. Brings up the number 2 hitter, Antonio Nunez. He flew out deep to Luke Thiel back in the top of the first in right field. So now runner in scoring position. That is Jake Maroney. He's on second base. That ball swung on Luke Thiel. Busy inning there for him. That ground ball is swallowed up and fired onto first for the third out of the inning. So after a one out, Jake Maroney single to Luke Thiel. Luke Thiel then cleans it up by handling Alex Fernandez and Antonio Nunez to end the inning. Score still 2-1 in favor of the Cougs. This is Washington State Baseball. You're listening on KUGR. Well, we just had our future Cougar stealing bases leader come out here in between the innings of the middle of the third, stealing a base here for the fans at Bailey Brayton. After a quick top of the third, the Cougs now leading off Ollie Abenauer playing left field today. He had a single and came all the way around to score back in the top of the first thanks to a Gavin Roy 2 RBI single. First pitch of the inning for him, taken low for ball one. Seems like Nolan George has settled down a little bit there after a very long top of the first inning for him. The 1-0 on the way to Abenauer. Oh, he's got real good control of that breaking ball today. That'll be in there for strike one. 1-1 now the count. To little Ollie Abenauer. 1-1 on the way. Swung on and missed. Count moves to 1-2 now. Abenauer hitting 318 on the year. But 350 when you stick him in the first batter of the inning. Oh, did he go that time? He did. Abenauer goes around and gets K'd up there by Nolan George. That'll be Nolan George's second strikeout of the game. Brings up first baseman, big number 19, Ryan Shawnsby. Shawnsby flew out to right fielder Fernandez in the top of the first or bottom of the first. That first pitch is fouled off into the parking lots for a long strike one. 0-1 the count, one gone here in the bottom of the third. Like we've been saying, this game seems to just be really moving along here. So here comes the 0-1 now. In there for strike two on the outside part. George has definitely settled down there on the mound for the Spartans. It looks like Choate gonna call Shawnsby out. Not sure. I haven't seen this before. A head coach meeting with the batter in an 0-2 count. Maybe a third base coach say something, but it looks like Choate says Not quite sure, obviously, but a little conversation going on there between the two. All right, Shawnsby pounds his chest because it's a 2-strike count. He steps back into the left side batter's box. Nolan George is ready to go. And the 0-2, the windup and the pitch. Shawnsby pops it up. That'll get out of play, though, for watch out fans over there. And it'll end up on top of the concession stand. That concession stand stays busy with foul balls and people buying food.
Yeah, they got some new food additions for this year. The foot-long hot dog kind of been a popular one.
Oh, yeah. Foot-long hot dog always sounds appetizing here at the ballpark. Count still 0-2 here to Shawnsby on the way. Oh, it looks like it hits him. Well, not a surprise there. It only took a couple innings here, but as the leading school in the Mountain West to get hit by pitches, Ryan Shawnsby will do the honors in the game to take the first one. Can't imagine that'll be the last. But Ryan Shawnsby gets hit on an 0-2 count. So kind of got away from George there, but nonetheless, a base runner here for the Cougs.
Yeah, it can't be a Washington State baseball game without a player getting hit by a pitch.
Definitely not. Brings up Logan Johnstone, who singled as well back in the first inning, and he also came around to score the second run. Shawnsby at first. Johnstone in the box now. Pitch swung on, ground ball up the middle. That'll be a base hit. Shawnsby won't test the arm there of the center fielder, Lewis. Probably a smart thing there from big number 19, but another base hit. So 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles there for Logan Johnstone.
Yeah, wise move from Shawnsby. As soon as he turned the corner, he could feel the ball coming down. He could hear the footsteps, essentially, kind of like in football where they know that they're going to get tackled. He was definitely going to get thrown out. He was not even a fourth of the way there, and the ball was almost halfway there. So good decision from Shawnsby to stay at second.
Yep, Washington State's third base coach had his hands up saying, no, Ryan.
At least he saw the stop sign.
Exactly, that is true. Brings up Will Cresswell, who walked in the top of the first. First pitch of his at-bats outside for ball 1. 1-0 the count. 1 gone here. Runners on first and second. We've got Johnstone at first with Shawnsby on second. Cresswell ended the top of the first with a tag on the rear end there to end the inning as he was trying to steal home on a wild pitch. 1-0 the count to Big Will. Watches that ball low bounce for ball 2. 2-0 the count now. Hitters count here for big number 30, Will Cresswell. Cresswell's got 3 home runs on the year, 16 ribbies. Let's see if he can dial up the success right here with Shawnsby. It's going to take a lot to score him from second, but here we go. The 2-0 now. Misses just low and outside. 3-0 now the count. Good count here for Will. Let's see if the red light's on or not. Seems like George is kind of struggling to find the zone here a little bit this inning, but we'll see now here. 3-0 the count. Shawnsby on second. Johnstone at first. Here comes the 3-0-2. Cresswell down the pipe for strike 1. 3-1 now to Will Cresswell. I was going to say this website here has 349 for Will Cresswell, but I'm doing the math in my head right now, and I don't believe that was a correct stat, but here's a 3-1. Low and outside. So Will Cresswell, for the second time today, is aboard via the walk.
Yeah, another bases loaded opportunity for Washington State, and Will Cresswell this time at first instead of third.
Yep.
And he got tagged out on the steal attempt, but now he's at first, and Gavin Roy with this very similar situation, trying to push across some more runs.
I think this was the literal same situation as the top of the first. Cresswell was on first when Roy was up. Johnstone on second, but third base was not Shawnsby. It was Ollie Abenauer. Nonetheless, though, Gavin Roy watches strike 1 on the inside part of the plate. Good pitch there from George. See if Gavin Roy can deliver once again here to give the Cougs a little more cushion here in a 2-1 ball game in the bottom of the third. 0-1 the count to Roy. 1 gone here. Bases are juiced. Misses just inside. God, it's really hard to tell from how close Gavin Roy stands to the plate if that pitch is really inside or if that is actually a strike. It's like it almost hits him, but does that even matter? Because he's so close that it's like it could still be a strike. Nonetheless, though, 1-1 to count to Roy. On the way now from George. Swung on, popped in the air. Will this be far enough to give Shawnsby tagged up? It might be. Shawnsby is going to tag. Throw is not going to go home. It'll go to cut off to second base. And Gavin Roy driven in all the runs today here for the Cougs as he will sacrifice fly Ryan Shawnsby on home from third base. Cresswell will stay at first, but Johnstone will tag from second and make his way to third.
Another really nice play for Gavin Roy. He's been the player of the game so far. He's made a couple nice plays on the defensive side, and then there again, getting his third RBI of the game in Washington State. Now up 3-1. This is a good start for the Cougs, just trying to keep this chugging right along against the Spartans.
100%. As we said, the Cougs with a 4-5 record in the Mountain West, trying to get even today. As in steps Rico Longo. He watches ball one high. Runners on the corners now for the Cougs with 2 gone here after an RBI sac fly deep to right field for Gavin Roy. 1-0 the count to number 7, Rico Longo now. That ball's in there for strike 1. Good pitch from Nolan George. See if Rico can dial up a base hit here and score Johnstone here for his second run of the game. Cresswell and Johnstone both respectively get their leads now. The 1-1 on the way from George. Long hold here. Here it comes. He misses low and outside for ball 2. Looks like George's fastball is missing just low and outside today. He's got the velocity dialed up. Here we go. The 2-1 on the way to Longo. Misses low. Good stop there that time, though, from Maroney.
Yeah, he's had a couple nice stops, but he's also had a couple plays that have gotten away from him. A lot of bobbles on it seems when he's trying to corral it. It just seems like he's a little bit frantic down there.
Oh, for sure. Good job of him right there, keeping it in front, though. The count, though, 3-1 now to Rico. Fouled off on a little quarter swing. I don't know if you think that was necessarily a half swing.
Yeah, I don't think he got halfway. I think that was about – it just hit him right almost in the fingers.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to see something that not a lot of people have gotten to see. Will Cresswell will be taking off here on a 3-2 count with 2 runners or 2 people out in the inning. Cresswell on the way to second. Longo, that's going to be an RBI base hit to left field. Cresswell with a big turn, but he'll head back there to second base. Rico Longo now gets on the board with an RBI. Logan Johnstone trots on home. 4-2 now, or 4-1 now in favor of the Cougs.
Yeah, just another really nice play for Washington State, just continuing to push these runners through. And they're not a team that's going to hit the long ball all that often, but they're just pushing these RBIs through and doing a really nice job staying on top of things and continuing to play well against the Spartans early in this game. But the problem is, can they keep it going? Are they going to go cold at some point in this game? We will see. But right now, it's a fantastic start.
That is very true. And here comes Luke Thiel now with 2 outs. He did go on his check swing, so that'll be strike 1. Luke Thiel grounded out to the shortstop, who made a nice play back in the bottom of the second last inning. 0-1 the count with Cresswell on second, and after an RBI single, Longo has taken over first base. The 0-1 on the way to Thiel on the inside part of the plate for strike 2. Good pitch and good spot there from Nolan George. So we've got 4-1 now with an 0-2 count to Thiel, and oh, look at that. Luke Thiel gets hit. Well, no, he does not. Oh, yes, he does. Okay.
That took him a while.
Yeah, that took a while. I think Thiel, I don't know if he thought that he was maybe it was a foul ball or something.
Yeah,
or
I saw what you saw, though. I saw him get hit, and I
was
expected him to just start sprinting. But
what did me and Davis say? You know, it wouldn't be a WSU baseball game without a hit batter. And I said, well, I know this won't be the first. And boom, there you go. It's the second. And I honestly can't even imagine that might be the second. Looks like San Jose State's pitching coach, though, it looks like their bullpen just getting up now and ready to get started to warm up. So it won't be a pitching change yet, just a little meeting on the mound. But nonetheless, the bases are loaded again here for the Cougs in the bottom of the third, ready to do some more damage. Kyler Northrup, who did have a single back in the bottom of the second to left field, maybe he can do some more damage here for the Cougs.
Yeah, if you can replicate that same type of hit, get one through with 2 outs, they're doing a really nice job.
Yeah, we've got Rico Longo showing off some speed there as well on that attempted bunt play. So he's on second now, and he could probably score on a single. Not a lot of designated hitters, you would say, in the MLB. I'd say I see with a lot of speed. I think more DHs as like the Nelson Cruzes or like the Yordan Alvarezes of the league, where they just got a lot of power, can hit the ball real good, but can't really score on a single from second. But here we go. Kyler Northrup trying to prove his spot into this WSU starting lineup. First pitch of his at bat in there for strike 1. 0-1 on a 90-mile-an-hour heater on the inside part of the plate. So Thiel on first, Longo on second, and once again, Cresswell to third. The 0-1 on the way. Northrop with a soft ground ball to second base. Looks like no one's on first, though. He's going to be safe. Oh, runner coming home as well. He's going to be in there safe as Longo. So Longo and Cresswell on it looked like very confused over there from Chamizo. He was not sure to cover the first base, but George made his way to first base. Looks like good thing he did, but I don't think his foot actually ever touched first base.
Yeah, George was going over there to try to salvage the play, but he was a little bit slow in reaction because everybody kind of got confused because Chamizo was not in the right spot to get that out. And that would have been in the inning. When they have 2 outs, all they got to do is get the force at first. And instead, Washington State puts across 2 runs.
Yeah, Longo made his way from second. So very heads up base running there from Rico Longo to make his way. The ball never left the infield, ladies and gentlemen,
Right.
But Rico Longo touched home. So Kyler Northrup picks up 2 RBIs there. So his third RBI of the year and his third in 2 games. In steps leadoff hitter Max Hartman takes a big hack for a foul ball. Wow, a lot just went down there. Kyler Northrup, though, is on first now. RBI, 2 RBI. Don't know if that'll go down as an error. No, that'll go down as a single. All right. Good hustle there from the kid. True freshman, Kyler Northrup. The 0-1 on the way to Hartman. Swung on and driven out to center field. Center fielder Lewis giving chase back. Backpedals on the track and makes the catch. Wow, Max Hartman has given some chase in this game to both Lewis and Fernandez out there. And right, nonetheless, though, a good 4-run inning in the bottom of the third for the Cougs. Score now 6-1, 5-run lead here. This is WSU Baseball, and you're listening on KUGR. Back in action here at Bailey Brayton Field after a 4-run bottom of the third inning. RBIs to go around there. Kyler Northrup as well as Rico Longo got his first of the game, and Northrop driven 2. Good offense here so far from the Cougs. 6 runs in just 3 innings. Griffin Smith still on the bump here. His pitch count's looking at about 40, exactly on the dot actually here. So 41 on the way. First is going to be in there. So it's showed bunt here from Chamizo, who made that mistake in to let up another 2 runs there for the Cougs. Shows bunt and then watches that ball go right down the middle. So 0-1 on the way for Chamizo. Fouls that one on quickly in an 0-2 hole. So Griffin Smith working ahead of the hitters here. What you like to see from your starting pitcher. Chamizo lined out to the shortstop, Gavin Roy, last time. 0-2 on the way. Popped in the air. Center fielder Hartman giving chase back on the track. And wow, these balls are flying off the bat today as these outfielders are giving chase. But nonetheless, that will be the first out of the inning.
Yeah, the 1 home run from McCoy earlier in this game for San Jose State. But the rest of them have been tempting very, very close to the wall. And Johnstone made a catch against the wall one time. And Hartman there just a couple feet away from slamming into the wall. So if the wind picks up at all, which it's sort of dead right now, if that wind just starts coming from home plate out to center field, these balls could start to fly even further.
Oh, 100%. Brings up their 4-hole hitter, Rocco Caballero. So we've got a Rico and a Rocco here in the game. Rico Longo, obviously, on the Cougs, and Rocco Caballero watches strike 1 from Griffin Smith. Now the 0-1 on the way. A little low for ball 1, 1-1, and 1 gone here in the top of the fourth in a 6-1 ball game. There we go, 4-1s. Trying to find as many as I could there. Here we go. The 1-1 on the way to Rocco. Swung on and missed. Griffin Smith feeling it now. 89-mile-an-hour heater in there for strike two. Caballero grounded out to Northrup back in the top of the second. Oh, Griffin Smith's 1-2, trying to paint that outside corner. Not a bad spot to miss. Just off the plate, though, for ball two. 2-2 now the count to Caballero. Here it is on the way from Griffin Smith. Swung on, popped in the air. Hartman giving chase, though. Another deep fly ball out. So back-to-back, almost mirrored there for 2 outs here in the top of the fourth. Spartans quickly 2 up, 2 down here.
That one was much easier for Hartman to make the catch. He took just maybe 4 to 5 steps backwards and then planted himself firmly and easily made the catch. And Washington State, when they get in this rhythm, they just start to put these hitters down for San Jose State, and it's been a fruitful game so far, leading at 6-1 and not really giving the Spartans that many chances.
Oh, for sure. Now in steps the Spartan center fielder, Jeriah Lewis. He grounded, or he flew out deep to Johnstone in right field last time as he watches ball one, but then the next pitch is swung on and missed for strike one. So 1-1 the count. Evens up now with 2 gone here in the top of the fourth. Griffin Smith's 1-1 on the way now to Lewis inside. Lewis gets out the way. He probably could have wore that one. You know, if you were a Coug, he would have wore it. I would have said.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, you're getting benched if you're not,
yeah,
if you're not taking that
very
pitch.
mad. And here we go. The 1-2-1 on the way in there on the inside part of the plate for strike two. 2-2, and now the count. Deuces are wild here in Pullman. 2-2 the count with 2 gone here. Looks like Chappie has made his way down. Back behind home plate for the 2-2 on the way. Swung on, belted down the line, but hooking foul off the indoor facility there on the visiting side. Count remains at 2-2. Jeriah Lewis in 245 on the year, 25 hits, 2-2 on the way. Ground ball, foul though once again down the visiting baseline. Spartans first base coach makes a nice play and tosses it back into the dugout. 2-2 still the count. Battle here between Griffin Smith and center fielder for the Spartans, Jeriah Lewis. Once again on the way, the 2-2 from Smith. Swung on, ground ball, going to be a tough play here. Charging at it is second baseman in time. On the way to Shawnsby. A great play there from Luke Deal. So Luke Deal making his name known at second base, as Ollie Albenauer has had no action there in left field. So maybe feeling a little left out there, but Luke Deal taking over a great responsibility there and making a great play there to end the inning. So 1-2-3 go the Spartans, heading to the bottom of the fourth. 6-1 still the score. This is WSU baseball, and you're listening on KUGR radio. All right, through 3.5 innings here are we in Pullman at Bailey Brayton Field. Score 6-1, a 5-run lead here for the Cougs. Griffin Smith pitching a heck of a game out there, only allowing 1 run back in the top of the second and only allowing 2 hits. He hasn't even walked a batter yet. Well, you'd love to see there from Griffin Smith. First in steps now, Ollie Obenauer. He watches strike one on the outside part of the plate. Obenauer's third at bat of the game. He singled and came around to score in the top of the first and then struck out last inning in the bottom of the third. Obenauer puts a charge into one. That's a fair ball down the line. Obenauer's thinking two at least. He'll make the route. Oh, it looks like he's limping a little bit. Oh, he definitely pulled a hamstring. He's got to get into second base fast. Oh, no, not what you want to see here. From Ollie Obenauer. Oh, that thing looked not good. And as soon as he rounded first base, you could tell that left hamstring was pulled.
Yeah.
Oh, no, and he still managed to make his way there to second base. All right. At least we're hoping it's maybe a cramp, but this looks like it could be, yeah, maybe he's holding it. That did not look pretty, though, from up here.
Yeah, as soon as he rounded it, and he still made it there. So what a tough kid to continue to run it out. And he doesn't give up on anything, and he just continues to run. And the coaching staff coming out to take a look. But, yeah, I mean, you were mentioning that he's going to at least get to two, and then you look over, and he's not really at second yet. He's just halfway from first to second, and he's starting to pull up and limp. And almost like, when those players in football are sprinting down the sideline, then they just decide that their hamstring's just blown up, and now they start to limp through. But that's exactly what you saw from Obenauer, but now he will walk back. So not good for Washington State. He's been a sensational freshman so far for them this year.
Oh, amazing. He's 2 for 3 on the day as well today. So on an 0-1 count as well, looks like Watterson will take over for him. Number 51, Cole Watterson will take over probably in left field as well, unless they are going to put Watterson to center. But
yeah, I do wonder that because he's played center field all year and Hartman's played left. So I wonder if they will make that switch. That's something to look out for when they go back to defense in the top of the fifth. But here in the bottom, yeah, Watterson getting the chance to run, but you just hope Obenauer's okay.
Yeah, nice little, let's see. I wonder if they're working on him in the dugout or if they took him back to the training facility. We'll let you guys know. But on the way, first pitch of the at-bat here to Ryan Shawnsby. Shawnsby's 0 for 1 on the day with a hit by pitch last inning to get the hit by pitch parade started here in Pullman. So Watterson now takes his lead at second base. Shawnsby in the box, 1-0 on the way. That ball is smacked into right field. Watterson took a step back because he wasn't sure if that was going to get caught or not, so he'll stay there and hold up at third. But Shawnsby, as we were just talking about, he's got a great bat over there at first base. He is now 1 for 2 on the day.
Yeah, perfect hit right down the line for Shawnsby and puts another runner in scoring position for Washington State. They're up to 9 hits so far in this game and not even all the way through 4 innings in this one.
Yeah, a lot of hits going on here for the Cougs. Just like this is almost what they ended at last Tuesday in Gonzaga, and we're not even halfway through the ball game, as Davis just said. So great to see here from the offensive perspective, as well as Griffin Smith on the bump for the Cougs. He's dealing out there. Logan Johnstone steps in, though, with an RBI opportunity. This is just the guy you want up if you're a Coug fan. He's 2 for 2 on the day, 2 singles. Also 2 runs scored. Watches his first pitch of his at-bat miss for ball 1. Looks like they've got 2 pitchers up and going there in the Spartans bullpen, so maybe last batter here for Nolan George. 1-0 on the way to Johnstone's on the outside part of the plate for strike 1. That was pitch number 70 of the game there for Nolan George. He's only let up 30. He only let up 29 hits actually on the year. Now he's up to 37. So Cougs putting a little damage on there as that next pitch moves down low for 2-1 to count to Logan Johnstone. Got Cole Watterson on third base, and Ryan Shawnsby takes his somewhat big lead there at first. 2-1 on the way to Johnstone. Misses down and in for ball 3. Geez, I actually thought that hit him again.
Yeah, with the way Washington State plays, you just assume all the balls that are close are actually going to hit them.
So big hitters count here for Logan Johnstone. Let's see if he takes a big hack at this one. 3-1 the count. On the way now. He does take, that's a ground ball to shortstop. Over to second base and fires to first base. Not in time to get Johnstone. So Caballero and Nunez can't turn the double play there. But they do get one out. But Johnstone will pick up an RBI as Watterson does cross home plate to move the score to 7-1. So a 6-run lead now here for the Cougs.
Got to feel good for Watterson to get in, even though Obenauer went down with the injury. Watterson comes in and able to score. Didn't get the start today, but then he comes in and does a good job for Washington State.
So that was not the last batter. Looks like maybe this will be the last inning, though, for George, because there is one out now. And Johnstone is on first, and Cresswell steps his way into the box. Geez, Cresswell, you can only count how many times he gets a fastball, and it is not many, as all 3 of his at-bats have started with that nasty breaking ball from George, as in there for strike 1. 0-1 the count to senior Will Cresswell. 0-1 now after a long hold on the way. In there for strike 2. Looks like another breaking ball, though. As we were saying, Will doesn't get many fastballs as he can do some damage with those things. That center field wall is pretty tall here in Pullman, but I think Cresswell can climb that thing and get it out of here. 0-2 now on the way from Nolan George to Will Cresswell. Swung on and missed at a big hack there. So 3-pitch strikeout there for Will Cresswell. Go down swinging. Brings up Mr. 3 RBI man on the day himself, Gavin Roy. 2 RBI single back in the top of the first and a sacrifice fly RBI back last inning. So Johnstone still there at first base. First pitch of the at-bat on the way here to Gavin Roy. Johnstone takes off, throwing the way. Oh, he comes off the bag. No, ain't going to be in time, though. Wow, looks like Johnstone overslid the bag there at second and kind of did like he's actually facing us in the broadcast booth right now, so he kind of held on a little bit, swirled around a little bit.
Yeah, and immediately putting the hands over the head to signal for a review, and the umpires are going to have a meeting.
Looks like that's Nanez over there at second base giving a little hug there saying, I know I got you, but
yeah, he was sitting like a toddler when you tell them they can't have the applesauce, and they sit there and he was like,
what the heck? I got him.
Yeah,
I got him.
We'll see if that is the case. They already have reviewed one play similar to that, but at home for Cresswell when he got tagged out in the first inning. Now Johnstone slid in, and then he came off the bag. You could see it from here that he came off, but umpire did signal that he was safe, so they'll review it once again.
Yeah, it looks like Tim Vesey and third base umpire Rob Hansen will make their way up and out of the field of play into. Yeah, I'm very interested to see where they go here. Not quite sure. I thought they just were there, but it looks like they're going to go near the concession stands and maybe into the WSU training facility to get. Yeah, it looks like they're going to go into the training facility there to get a better view for this one. Maybe they don't get heckled here by the fans, or maybe any influence there from Nathan Choate.
Yeah, although
next to the dugout.
If you're going through the fans to get to that spot, that's really when you can get heckled.
That's a little awkward.
Washington State fans, they're really good at what they do, and they're very good fans. But I imagine that they're letting them hear it. But definitely could be worse at some other ballparks. Washington State fans definitely nicer, I would imagine, than a lot of other places, maybe up in Seattle or something like that. I don't know.
But it's questionable down there.
Yeah, you get something where there's an umpire running through the concourse of a stadium. It's a little bit odd to me where they do have camera equipment down on the field. And so the fact that they have to run way out there definitely slows the process down as well.
I believe that was Johnstone's second stolen base attempt of the game.
Yeah, he had the one earlier one, right? Where he slid on his hip for like 4 feet.
Oh, that's right. He did. Yep. So Johnstone he only had one stolen base coming into the game to this game on the year. So interesting to see, not known much for his speed, but more for his power. But, he does play right field, and the outfielders do got to move quite a bit out here in college. Right field gets a lot of action over there.
Yeah, we saw him make the play against the wall. He had a sprint for that one. It was basically dead center, left center field where he made the catch against the wall.
So Watterson does come around to score in this inning. So another inning, another run here for the Cougs. Score now 7-1. 9 hits on the day. Not even through 4, as long as this call stands as safe. Not even through 4 innings. The Cougs have put up 9 runs, or 9 hits. Maybe 9 runs coming shortly. Who knows?
Yeah, with 7 runs so far in this game, the offense has been very good for Washington State.
Yeah.
And I can only imagine that this will keep going. They just seem to be feeding off of Nolan George. As long as he's in there, it seems like they're having their way with him. I wouldn't imagine that he's probably going to stay in too much longer for the Spartans. But
yeah,
Washington State averages 5.89 runs per game. So they've already surpassed that, not even halfway through the game.
Yeah, it looks like Nolan George will be approaching pitch number 80, but he has no intentions of coming out of the game at least through. He's got to finish up 4 innings. Got to respect that. He wants to stay out there. But RBIs on the day, all 7 of them here for the Cougs. 3 of them coming by way of the batter still actually up to bat. Shortstop Gavin Roy. 2 RBI single in the first and a sac fly in the third. An RBI coming as well from Kyler Northrup. I make that 2 RBIs, my bad, on an infield single back last inning, as well as a Rico Longo single to left field. So that'll be all 7 RBIs. And then obviously the 1 RBI coming from that solo mash there from James McCoy, the left fielder there for the Spartans. Only one of their 2 hits, but one of them did leave the yard, as the umpires will slowly make their way back from the concourse into the field. It's maybe they'll get maybe they got a little drink of water.
Yeah, maybe they got that
right in there.
foot-long hot dog.
Or yeah, that foot-long. Yeah, hey, man, don't blame them. As
get a dog to go.
Looks like Tim Vesey will make the call here as he trots back to home plate. After review, the call in the field stands, so Logan Johnstone will be safe, as it looks like Nanez might have never actually held the tag, and he's not happy with himself out there. So, dare I say it, another RBI opportunity here for Gavin Roy. Chance to pick up number 4 on the day. Be number 4 on the day and number 20 on the season for Gavin. As long as this thing is not up. No, this will be number 17 on the season if he picks this up for Mr. Roy. Count is 0-1, though. After all that, you forget that he does have a strike on him. 2 gone here in the bottom of the 4th. Make that 1-1 now as that pitch misses outside and away. So Johnstone now on second base with his second stolen base of the day. 1-1 the count. Just shortstop Gavin Roy on the way now from George. Ground ball up the middle. Will it get through? No. There to make the play is Caballero. Fires to first in time. Yes, indeed. Great play there from Caballero to retire his fellow shortstop, Gavin Roy. So the Cougs, though, another run there. Thanks to Ollie Obenauer, who did get hurt, though. So it looks like, let's see, he's not going to take the field. Cole Watterson will make his way to center, and Max will move over to left field. But 7-1 now the score for the Cougs. Up 6. This is WSU Baseball. Thanks for listening. This is KUGR Radio.
Seven to 1 advantage for Washington State as we start the top of the 5th inning. Washington State and San Jose State in game 1 of 3 this weekend here on Parents Weekend and Decades on the Diamonds. It's 70s night, and Jake McCoy will lead it off to the top of the 5th inning with J.C. Osorio-Agard and Neil Jansen due up after him. And here's the first pitch. Swung on and a chopper to third. Grabbed by Northrup, and the flyer to first is in time to Ryan Shonsby, and that will be the first out of the top of the 5th inning for Washington State. They've got the 7-1 advantage over San Jose State. And the next batter, J.C. Osorio-Agard for the San Jose State Spartans, wearing number 17 in the all-gray. Washington State playing in the all-whites with the red caps in the outfield. Ollie Obenauer went down with a potential hamstring injury, so Cole Watterson has replaced him in center, and then Max Hartman has moved over to left. So here's the first pitch from Griffin Smith to Osorio-Agard, and he takes it for strike number 1. So Jake McCoy hit the home run earlier in the game. That was in the 2nd inning. And then he gets out to Kyle Northrup. Here's the 0-1 pitch. And that is a little bit inside for ball number 1. The count goes to 1-1. So the 5-3 to start the inning. And then Osorio-Agard with a 1-1 count. Here's offering from Griffin Smith and a high fly ball. And there are 3 Cougars around it, but Logan Johnstone calls them all off and makes the easy grab for the second out of the inning. Really high fly ball. Definitely got a piece of it, didn't get all of it, and it really didn't even travel halfway through the outfield. And second out of the inning in as many batters. And so number 26, Neil Jansen, the designated hitter, will come up for the San Jose State Spartans.
Griffin Smith really making good work of this Spartans offense here.
Yes, he is. Here's the next pitch to Jansen, and it's a chopper to Gavin Roy, easily fielded, and the fire to first is in time, and they get the 3-up, 3-down inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on for San Jose State. A really quick inning as we head to the bottom of the 5th inning. It's Washington State 7, San Jose State 1. You're listening to Washington State Baseball on KUGR. Entering the bottom of the 5th inning, Washington State leads it 7-1 over San Jose State, and the Spartans have a new pitcher on the mound. It is Luca Staiano, number 31, standing at 6'6", 205 pounds from Newbury Park, California. And we were talking at the break. He's about halfway to the plate once he steps off for that pitch, and definitely menacing up on the bump for the San Jose State Spartans. And for the Washington State Cougars, Rico Longo will lead it off with Luke Thiel and Kyler Northrup due up after Rico Longo. And here we go to start the bottom of the 5th inning with a 6-run advantage for Washington State. The 3-up, 3-down inning once again for the Spartans in the top of the 5th. And Rico Longo will step in. Had an RBI in the bottom of the 3rd with his base hit. And so here's his first look at Staiano, the 6'6" pitcher. Righty delivers the first one, and it's in for strike number 1. And count goes to 0-1 against Rico Longo. So Washington State with 9 hits so far in this game on George. Now it's a new pitcher, Staiano, and he delivers another strike to Rico Longo. Count goes to 0-2 against the designated hitter, Rico Longo. Leading off for the second time today, led off in the 2nd inning, and now here in the 5th. Here's the next pitch, and it is a base hit to left field, and it gets down, and Rico Longo gets to first on a really nice hit. And once again, another base hit for Rico Longo, and they lead off the inning with a nice hit. That's their 10th of the game, and number 1, Luke Thiel, the second baseman, will come up for the Washington State Cougars.
Yeah, that's another hit there for Rico to left field as well. Looks like he likes to pull that ball down there, left field line.
Luke Thiel up. Got hit by a pitch in the 3rd inning. There's a chopper foul down the 3rd baseline. Count goes to 0-1, but Washington State just continues to get hit by pitches. They're the leading team in the Mountain West with over 50 hit by pitches this season, and they've got a couple here today, one of them being by Luke Thiel. So he starts this one off with an 0-1 count against him, with Rico Longo getting a lead at first. Staiano, the delivery on the 0-1, and this one is swung and foul down the 3rd baseline, just barely. It was right on the chalk line down the 3rd baseline, and Osorio Agard made the grab when it was foul, but those are the kind of plays that Washington State can make where it just goes right down the line, and then all of a sudden Rico Longo might even be heading home with the speed that he possesses. So an 0-2 count against Luke Thiel. Here's the offering, and it's a swing and a miss for Luke Thiel, and he goes down swinging. And that's the first out of the inning for Washington State.
Like a little nasty change up there from Staiano. Got Theo to go chasing.
So Kyler Northrup, the third baseman for Washington State, the 9-hole hitter. Up next, the right-handed batter versus the righty pitcher in Staiano, with Rico Longo getting a lead at first. First offering outside for ball number 1 to Kyler Northrup. Made a couple nice plays today so far. Third, made one of them earlier in the game, sliding on his hip. Almost cut off Gavin Roy, the shortstop, but he ended up making the play to get the out. So a 1-0 count against Northrup. Here's the offering, and that is outside for ball number 2 against Kyler Northrup. Had a 2 RBI in the third inning.
Got a little mishap over there at first base from Chamizo.
Yeah, that was one of the crazier plays you might see. Here's a high fly ball out towards first, and it's going to be the second baseman, Nunez, to make the catch, coming all the way over from his second base position, and Chamizo just continues to kind of get outdueled by his teammates. He was there. It probably could have been his, but I think his teammates realized that we want to make the play and not allow it to get into his hands. So
yes,
Northrup gets flown out there to second in foul territory, and that'll bring up Max Hartman, the top of the order, now with 2 outs, and Rico Longo still at first for the Cougars. They lead it 7-1 here in the bottom of the 5th inning against the San Jose State Spartans in game number 1 of the weekend. And here's the pitch from Staiano, and it's fouled off by Hartman, and he shakes off his right hand after the metal bat. Probably feeling the tingles on that one as he fouled it off backwards. Count goes to 0-1.
Little vibrations there from that metal bat. That's what you get. Once you get to the MLB, you got to switch that thing out for a ling of lumber.
0-1 count against Max Hartman. The turn had fired at first on a pickoff attempt, and Longo gets back safely. Chamizo will lob it back to the pitcher's mound with Staiano, who is just an absolute unit on the mound. 0-1 count against Hartman. The offering and a outside pitch for Staiano. Hartman thought about it for a second, probably got about an eighth of the way there, and then pulled it back. So the count goes to 1-1.
Good eye there for Max.
Max Hartman has struck out this game so far and then flown out twice, once to right field and once to center field. Here's the offering to Hartman, and that is outside for ball number 2. So the count goes to 2-1 for Max Hartman. Started the game at center field and then has moved now to left field after Ollie Obenauer went down with an injury. Cole Watterson has gone to center field. Here's the pitch on a 2-1, a foul ball down the first baseline. Count goes to 2-2 against Max Hartman.
See if Max can get a hit. I feel like he's one of the only batters on the Cougs who doesn't have a hit today, yet he has the most on the team. See if Max can get on board here.
Yeah, Max Hartman's coming into today, 39 hits so far this season, batting average of .351. Pickoff attempt to first, and Longo is there safely. So 2 outs for Washington State and a 2-2 count against Max Hartman. They lead at 7-1 in the bottom of the 5th inning. The base runner on. Max Hartman, the lefty batter against the righty pitcher Staiano. Here's a 2-2 pitch and a high fly ball out to left field. McCoy tracking back at the wall, and he can't make the catch. Rico Longo taps third and rounds for home, and Hartman gets a stand-up double, and Rico Longo scores. And it looked like a routine play. McCoy is just standing with his hands on his hips, frustrated, out in the shade of left field, and that looked like a routine play, and he couldn't quite make it, and Rico Longo sprints home, and another run comes through for the Cougars.
Yeah, I think that'll actually go down as a double, as Hartman really got that ball. Like as we said today, they just keep carrying over there to the outfield. And Hartman, again, that's his third deep fly ball he's had, and that one just gets off the glove there from Rogers or McCoy over there in left field. But there you go. As I was saying, it's good to see Max Hartman on board with the Cougs.
And Cole Watterson will show a bunt, and the tap is not able to be caught by Maroney, and they're going to call it foul. And Watterson was already to first base by the time the call got made, and Choate's going to come out and talk to the home plate umpire.
Yeah, as I was saying earlier, I just love when he comes out in his little strut towards. He just looks so funny when he just comes to struts towards. So he's like, "All right, I got something to say here." He's like, "Let me 1 second here, ump," and then it's just Never know what this guy's like. Are you sure that I love when they try to argue the calls, but it's like, but you can't really review. It's like, are you sure that was foul?
Right.
Are you really? I wonder what they always say. I've never been a part of those conversations where it's like, really? And then it's like,
Yeah.
all right, I believe you. And then it's back to the dugout he goes.
Yeah, all they got to do is just ask him a friendly question, and
Yeah.
then they're like, "What are you talking about? I saw it all the way in there." All right. As long as they can have some evidence to back it up.
Yeah.
So Watterson fouls that off. So it's an 0-1 count with Hartman getting a secondary lead at second base. And Watterson's going to pop this one down the right field line, and it's going to go foul again, just barely by the skin of his teeth. It goes foul down the right field line, and Watterson's going to have to jog back to the batter's box, and Hartman is going to have to jog back directly from home to second as he was already in there, as he knew that was getting down. If it was just a couple inches over to the left, that would have been a fair ball and probably an easy score for Max Hartman. So the count goes to 0-2 against Cole Watterson. In his first plate appearance of the day after Obenauer went down, Watterson has replaced him in this game. Into the bottom of the fifth inning, Washington State leads it 8-1 with 2 outs and a runner on second and Hartman. Watterson takes this one inside for ball number 1 on the at-bat, so the count goes to 1-2. Still with 2 outs. And some chirping from the San Jose State dugout. Tim Vesey shouting back and saying, "I know what I'm looking at." So a 1-2 count against Watterson. Staiano, the rise and fire, and that is outside for ball number 2. And Watterson thought about it for half a second. Now pounds his chest with the 2 strikes. So a 2-2 count for Cole Watterson playing center field after the Obenauer injury. Hartman getting a lead at second. Here's a 2-2 pitch from Staiano, and it is strike number 3. They get Watterson looking, but they do score 1 run on 2 hits, no errors, 1 runner left on base. Max Hartman gets stranded at second. We go to the top of the 6th inning. It's 8-1. Washington State has the lead over San Jose State. You're listening to Cougar Baseball on KUGR. Heading to the top of the 6th inning, Washington State leads it 8-1 with a 7-run advantage over the Spartans of San Jose State. To lead it off, Jake Maroney, the bottom of the order for the Spartans. Then back to the top with Alex Fernandez and Antonio Nanez for the Spartans here in the top of the 6th inning. Washington State putting together 11 hits so far through this one, and Griffin Smith still on the bump for the Cougars. Delivers the first ball into Maroney, and that is ball number 1. So Smith doing a really nice job on the mound today so far. Still playing in this one. Here's the next offering to Maroney, and that is low for ball number 2. So Griffin Smith, 60 pitches so far today.
Wow, very efficient.
Yeah, very, very good day for him through 5 innings pitched. And here's strike number 1 to Maroney. With just 1 strikeout on the day so far. Only given up 2 hits. Here's the 2-1 pitch, and that is a strike. Count goes to 2-2.
See, it seems like when he falls behind today, he just kind of works his way back into it. You gotta love it. Gotta love it.
Feeling very comfortable on the mound. Here's a 2-2 pitch against Maroney, and that is tipped foul back into the backstop. And Alex Fernandez, the on-deck batter, will run out to grab that ball as it slowly trickled towards the first base line, and he will throw it back into the dugout. So still a 2-2 count against Baroni after he fouled it off. Here's the offering from Griffin Smith and a pop-up towards the first base side foul. Ryan Shonsby under it to make the grab as he was into the warning track of the infield, heading towards the bullpen for the San Jose State Spartans. He makes the catch, and that's the first out of the inning on a fly out to the first baseman. And that'll bring up Alex Fernandez, the right fielder, one of the best hitters in the Mountain West. Came into today with the really mind-boggling average of 404 so far, but also the over 500 on-base percentage. Yet to get on base, though, today. And here's a chopper towards the first baseman, Ryan Shonsby. Easy grab, but he taps the bag on the first offering from Smith. And 2 up, 2 down for the San Jose State Spartans. And that's just been the theme all day, is either 3 up, 3 down, or 4 up and 3 down. So it's been really, really efficient baseball from Griffin Smith.
A lot of first pitch swings here, too, as well from the Spartans. So that's got to favor Smith in his pitch count, as he's only at 66 now.
Wow.
About to be through 6 innings here for himself. 2 outs here.
And that'll bring up Antonio Nanez, the second baseman who requested that challenge call on the Logan Johnstone steal attempt.
What's going on here? Looks like maybe.
And the home plate umpire, Vesey, is writing on his card out of his pocket, and there's a meeting between Zach Chamizo, the first baseman, on the on-deck batter, and Antonio Nanez, who's supposed to be batting.
Yeah, very confused. The head coach looks like maybe he just wanted a word with
maybe an offensive timeout potentially for the San Jose State Spartans, and could be with the umpires writing down to confirm the exact time when that was called. Because he's talking with the batter, Nanez. Now he'll slowly make his way, dragging the bat behind him like a kid that is reluctant to go to school on a rainy Tuesday afternoon in February.
He was just like reluctant to get in the box there. He's like, oh, fine if I have to.
Yeah, I don't want to face Griffin Smith. He's been dealing today so far, and now he steps in. And here's the first offering from Smith, and a swing and a miss by Nanez, and he's not ready for it.
No, I did not look ready for that one at all.
I do wonder what was said to him. But here's the 0-1 by Griffin Smith, and that is in for strike number 2. Nanez watched it go by. And it's an 0-2 count with 2 outs, nobody on for the San Jose State Spartans. This is the third batter of the inning, and they already have 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and that is high for ball number 1. So the count goes to 1-2 against Antonio Nanez.
Butch T. Cougar has made his way up the alley here.
Yeah, his big head hopefully doesn't block our view. And a foul ball hit down the first baseline into the bullpen for San Jose State down that first baseline.
Yeah, speaking of bullpen, still nothing up there in the Wazoo bullpen. Love to see it. So Griffin Smith maybe heading into this, maybe 7 innings we'll get out of him today.
Here's the 1-2 pitch from Smith, and another foul ball hit behind home plate by Nanez, and the count stays at 1-2. And this is one of the longest at-bats so far for Griffin Smith. He's been efficient so far today. A 1-2 count against Nanez with 2 outs and nobody on for the Spartans here in the top of the 6th inning. This pitch is outside for ball number 2. Count goes to 2-2 with 2 outs, and Spartans just 2 hits so far in this game. Washington State with 11, almost 10 more hits than their opponent today, and a foul ball once again. So just continuing to battle. He might get to 60 pitches in this at-bat for Griffin Smith.
You know, now that I think about it, what if that meeting between the head coach was to just foul off the balls?
Exactly, yeah.
Honestly,
try to get Griffin Smith to... Because they know that if they don't foul it off, he's going to get him down. So here's a 2-2 pitch from Griffin Smith, and this one is going to be fouled again. And you might be dead on with that because Griffin Smith just continues to climb the ladder in pitches. Another foul ball.
I honestly do think that the head coach had something to say, just, hey, try to fight this guy off. We can't hit him.
Yeah, 9th pitch of the at-bat, and it's fouled again. And double digits in one at-bat for Griffin Smith. a sixth of the pitches that he came into this inning with in this lone at bat. So really just trying to disintegrate the arm of Griffin Smith, but still fighting through. And the count still remains 2-2. With 2 outs and nobody on. Here's the pitch. And this one is popped up into right. A can of corn for Logan Johnstone. And he records the 3rd out. So 3 up, 3 down. Not quite as fast because of all the foul balls, but they get the 3rd out of the inning. So no runs, no hits, no errors, nobody left on for the San Jose State Spartans as we head to the bottom of the 6th inning. Washington State 8, San Jose State 1. You're listening to Cougar Baseball on KUGR. To the bottom of the 6th we go with Washington State leading it 8-1 over the San Jose State Spartans. The first game of the 3-game series here on Parents Weekend. And a new pitcher for the San Jose State Spartans, number 51, Timmy Reeve, to the mound. He stands at 6 foot, 186 pounds. So Staiano's day is done. And Nolan George, the starting pitcher, his day got done because Staiano came in for him. But a new pitcher on the mound, Timmy Reeve. He will face Ryan Shonsby, the leadoff batter, to start the bottom of the 6th inning, followed by Logan Johnstone and Will Cresswell. Those are the batters due up for Washington State. And they lead it 8-1 as we begin the bottom of the 6th inning. Here's the first pitch from Reeve, and that is high for ball number 1. Maroney stands up on his toes and catches it and will fire it back. So count goes to 1-0 against Ryan Shonsby, who had a base hit in the bottom of the 4th inning. Here's the pitch from Reeve, and that is low. So count goes to 2-0. And he also got hit by a pitch earlier in this game in the 3rd inning that saw 2 hit by pitches. One for Luke Thiel, and then one for Shonsby. And this pitch is inside by quite a bit for ball number 3. And anything that's pretty close to being inside might deflect off the batter.
Yeah, looks like location has been a struggle this year for Reeve. He's got 7 walks in less than 6 innings pitched.
3-0 pitch on Shonsby. Strike number 1, right down the middle for Ryan Shonsby, the first baseman. Been playing a great day on defense. So has just the entire team for Washington State. Only 2 hits given up, just 1 run against San Jose State. The next offering outside into the left batter's box, and Ryan Shonsby will take his base on a ball. So another walk for Reeve, and that's number 8 on the season.
Yeah, 8 walks. He's got 4 strikeouts coming into the game with a 6.75 ERA. So he's pitched 6 2/3 innings, but he's allowed 5 earned runs in those innings. So let's see if the Cougs will jack that up here. Shonsby is now aboard.
So Shonsby gets to first base. Logan Johnstone, the power hitter for Washington State, the 4-spot hitter for the Cougars, up to bat. The first pitch from Reeve is high for ball number 1, and he's got to start finding the zone here pretty quick, or else Washington State just might take everything they can get and just walk around the bases.
Yeah, as I say, we've talked about quite the game moving along quite fast here, but these are the innings where if the pitcher can't find the zone here in college, that's where you're like, this could be a 30-minute half inning.
Right. And just gets bogged down. Game starts to be played in the mud.
I'm not too familiar with the mercy rule? I know it's 10 runs, but does it have to be 7th inning or later, or do you?
I believe it would be the 7th inning or later.
Okay.
It's different for all the levels, and I'm fresh up on it for the high school ranks. It's
There you
if
go.
they've had 5 plate appearances and it's 10 runs or more. Here's a strike to Logan Johnstone, and the count goes to 1-1. They've had multiple games this year, though, Washington State, in the 10-run categories, not in a good way.
Yep.
They've been on the bad end of a couple of those games. So count 1-1 against Johnstone, and he's going to foul this one up high down the left field line, and count goes to 1-2 against Logan Johnstone. So Reeve now with 2 strikes against Johnstone with Shawnsby on first. Nobody out for Washington State here in the bottom of the 6th inning. It's 8-1. Cougars have the lead. Here's a pitch from Reeve, and that is high for ball number 2. So the count goes to 2-2 against Logan Johnstone, playing right field for Washington State and doing a really nice job at that.
Cougars are hitting 458 today on the day, 11 for 24.
So a 2-2 count against Johnstone. Here's the pitch, and he fouls it, and it bounces off the tightly wound net behind home plate. And it seems like a pretty subtle addition for them to get a new net, but it definitely makes a big difference when you look, and it's just totally perfect down both first and third baselines. And then right here in the middle where you need it most for the broadcasting crew and the fans to heckle the umpires. And it's strike number 3 to Logan Johnstone. He goes down looking, and a nice pitch from Reeve. And Logan Johnstone will slowly walk back to the dugout. And Will Cresswell, the catcher for Washington State, will come up. He struck out swinging in the bottom of the 4th inning after getting walked twice in this game in the 1st and 3rd. Now he's up again in the 6th inning with Shawnsby at first and 1 out for Washington State. Up by 7 against the Spartans. Here's the first offering to Cresswell, and it's a fly ball out to left, caught by McCoy this time. He makes the catch, and Shawnsby will return to first. McCoy had the bobble that allowed Hartman to get the RBI double, scoring Rico Longo. This time he makes the grab, and that's the 2nd out of the inning with Shawnsby still on first, and that'll bring up Gavin Roy, the shortstop. Had a really good game so far. 3 RBIs.
Yeah. That was good contact there by Will, just literally right to him. I don't think he moved a step.
Right. First pitch to Roy is strike number 1. So Cresswell flies out to left, and Gavin Roy up for Washington State. 2 outs now in the inning. Johnstone struck out. Cresswell flew out. And the 0-1 pitch from Reeve. It's a little bit high for ball number 1 in this at-bat for Gavin Roy. He grounded out to 3rd in the 4th inning.
God, I gotta see how tall this catcher is. It's just like every ball that's just high, he has to stand up for.
Here's the next offering, and that is low. Count goes to 2-1. And Maroney, 5'10".
Okay, that would explain
5'10",
it.
162 pounds, out of Frisco, Texas. So not entirely the tallest guy.
Yeah.
The pitcher, though, only 2 inches taller at 6 feet. Next pitch is high for ball number 3 to Gavin Roy. 3-1 count against Roy with Shawnsby getting a lead at first, and 2 outs for the Cougars here in the bottom of the 6th inning, getting late in this one against the Spartans. The 3-1 pitch to Roy, just over the far side of the plate, and the count goes to 3-2 against Gavin Roy.
A little questionable call there, but maybe I'm just like, all right, guys.
Probably about as close as it can get. So full count against Roy. Here's the offering. It's high, and he takes first on the walk. So 2nd walk of the inning for Reeve, who started to slowly find the zone and then lost it again against Roy, and that will move Shawnsby to 2nd on the walk. So Shawnsby got put on first by a walk and gets advanced to 2nd on a walk. And now Rico Longo for Washington State back up, the designated hitter who was able to score in the 5th inning off the good hit from Max Hartman, which was the RBI. With 2 runners on, and the first pitch goes awry, and that's going to be ball number 1, and it bounced towards the first base side, and then Maroney was able to stand up and get it, but time and time again, he just cannot corral those balls.
Yeah, I think anyone else but Seansby there on second maybe tries to take third base there.
Exactly right. But don't want to push your luck too much if you don't have to. And Longo is going to pop this one foul to the dugout side into the bullpen, and the pitchers over there kind of look at it, and now they'll finally run over to acknowledge that the ball had made contact over there. So maybe they're a little bit delirious in the sun.
Do we really have to get it?
Yeah.
All right.
So a 1-1 count with 2 runners on and 2 outs for Washington State. And Rico Longo watches the pitch go by low for ball number 2 in the at-bat. So count goes to 2-1. They've got Seansby at second and Cresswell. Roy at first, he got walked. Cresswell flew out to get the second out of the inning. So 2 on and 2 outs. Here's the pitch, and it is way inside, just almost scraping the knees of Rico Longo, and the count goes to 3-1 with 2 outs. Washington State leads it 8-1 in the bottom of the 6th inning. This is the 3rd pitcher of the game for the San Jose State Spartans. Reeve with a 3-1 count against Longo. Here's the offering, and that is high for ball 4. And he takes his base, and the bases are loaded once again. And Luke Thiel will be up, the 8-spot hitter for Washington State. The second baseman who struck out swinging in the bottom of the 5th inning has another opportunity with the bases loaded. That's the 3rd walk of the inning. So walking the bases loaded, not necessarily great for Reeve.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what you want coming out of your bullpen there. 3 walks, 1 inning.
Here's the first offering to Thiel, and he's going to get a base hit into right field, and that's going to score 2 runs for Washington State. Seansby gets down. Gavin Roy dives like Superman across the plate, and he puts in 2 more, and it is now 10-1 with 12 hits in the game against the San Jose State Spartans. Washington State's offense is humming right along.
Yeah, as we were just talking about the Mercy rule, and I think we maybe seen that into effect here as obviously Reeves having a trouble time finding the strike zone, but anything else, the Cougs are just hitting the baseball. I mean, Luke Thiel on the RBI party, might as well give one to everybody here.
Yeah, the bases got loaded with walks, and then Thiel hit the ball, and it was really a good hit ball, but it was one that if the second baseman reads that a little bit better, that could have been a ground out and then ended the inning with 3 bases full for Washington State. But instead, Luke Thiel puts it right through, and it goes into right field, and then they end up scoring 2 runs. So Washington State up 10-1, and we're going to get a new pitcher. So Reeve doesn't even survive the inning, and that's an unfortunate debut in Pullman for him.
Yeah. You never want to prey on somebody's downfall. But yeah, three walks in a RBI single right there from Luke Thiel. Not going to get the job done there in just your little half inning of baseball. But 10-1 now, a 9-run lead here for the Cougs after coming off a good 7-6 gritty win. Maybe nice. This is more of a, don't want to speak too early, but maybe more of a relaxed win here for the Cougs instead of going to extras like the Mariners did, as we were just looking in the last break, and the Mariners got walked off on from the Giants, losing 9-10 down there in San Francisco.
Yeah, so a new pitcher on the mound for the San Jose State Spartans, and we'll see who exactly it is if he would turn his back, but he's getting in some warm-up, and it's going to be Joey Camarda, the right-handed pitcher from Scottsdale, Arizona, standing at 6'2", 239 pounds. He's appeared before this game in 9 games, hasn't started one yet, but the bullpen pitcher for the Spartans. He started his career at Washington State, in fact, and then played in just 1 game from the bullpen and ended up transferring. And that was right before the season got shut down in 2020 against Niagara. So Washington State fans probably blame him for the downfall of the world.
Well, we'll see if he can give us back here, and let's see if we'll get Northrup will get a mercy rule going here.
Yeah, Kyler Northrup, the third baseman, waiting his turn to face Camarda. And Camarda just looks a little bit out of control as well. That pitch from the warm-up was on the outside chalk of the left batter's box.
I didn't want to say it.
We'll say it. We're observing.
Yep, exactly.
Gotta let the people know.
I wonder if Choate will maybe after this inning go to some people on the bench who don't get a lot of time here. We'll see if he'll put some substitutions into the ball game, but nothing yet. This Northrop will still. I can't imagine Northrop will get taken out as the freshman. You got to get them as many reps as they can.
Exactly. Got to keep them around. So runners on the corners for Washington State, and it's 2 outs with a 10-1 advantage with Kyler Northrop up to bat against Joey Camarda, the new pitcher for the San Jose State Spartans. Here's his first pitch, and that is outside for ball number 1. And his first pitch a little bit outside. So Rico Longo at third with Luke Thiel at first. The 1-0 pitch from Camarda is strike number 1 to Kyler Northrop. So 2 runs have come across in this inning thanks to the 2-run RBI from Luke Thiel on that single to right field. Here's the 1-1 pitch from Camarda, and a chopper down the third baseline. Is going to go foul, just barely foul as it was hopping over the third base bag. And they call it foul, and the crowd didn't necessarily agree. It was pretty close.
I thought he might have played that one in fair territory, but obviously I am no umpire.
Yeah, Sorio Agar dove for it, but they're going to call it foul. So 1-2 count with 2 outs and the runners in the corners. And there's strike number 3 to Northrop. He goes down looking, and they strand 2 runners, but they bring across 2 runs on the RBI from Luke Thiel. No errors in the inning, and it is 10-1. Washington State leads it as we head to the top of the 7th inning here at Bailey Brayton Field. You're listening to Cougar Baseball on KUGR.
All right, everybody. Welcome back here to Bailey Brayton Field now in the top of the 7th inning, as here we are with a score of 10-1 in favor of your Washington State Cougars after looks like 4 straight innings of runs put up. And yes, Griffin Smith is still in the ball game as Chamizo will step into the box and he will swing and miss at his first pitch. Chamizo on the day, 0 for 2. And this is his 3rd at-bat coming here in the top of the 7th as he watches that pitch miss for ball 1. 1-1 the count now evens up. So Griffin Smith coming into the inning with 77 pitches. Here comes pitch number 80 on the way. It looks like it almost nabs him, but it does not. Chamizo gets out of the way for ball number 2, missing just inside there from Griffin. Last at-bat flew out to center fielder, did Chamizo, and that ball is right back up the middle, right over the second base and underneath the glove there of shortstop Gavin Roy. So the first hit since I believe the 2nd inning there for the Spartans comes here in the top of the 7th, courtesy of Zach Chamizo.
Yeah, they got their scoring started with Jake McCoy hitting the home run, and then they went silent after that point. So Chamizo gets aboard, and he hasn't had the best day on the defensive side, so the fact that he gets a hit there, bolsters him up a little bit.
For sure. In steps Rocco Caballero now. Caballero watches pitch number 1 in there for a strike. He's 0 for 2 on the day. His last at-bat came in the top of the 4th where he also flew out to what was then Max Hartman in center field, but is now Cole Watterson. The 0-1 on the way, swung on, popped high in the air into the foul seats. Going to land right here close to us.
Yeah, to flex off the railing in one of the reserved sections.
Close to our man Chappie. We wouldn't want anything bad happening to him down there.
It's a good thing he's wearing a hat. That'll protect you.
It will. From the sun and the ball, some
That's
might
right.
say. Count, though, moves to 0-2 now. So Griffin Smith doing what he's done all day, getting ahead of the Spartan batters. 0-2 on the way with Chamizo at first. Misses down low. Good stop there, though, from Will Cresswell to keep Chamizo loyal there to that first base. 1-2 now the count to Caballero. He taps his bat, steps back in, gives it a twirl. Down by 9 are the Spartans. The 1-2 count here. Swung on, popped in the air. Going to get out of play, though, as well. For another foul ball. So Caballero doing his part, staying alive. I don't see any action still, though, down there in the Cougar bullpen. So Choate putting his full faith for Griffin Smith to go 7 strong here. Can't blame him. He's only given up 1 run off 3 hits. As he shakes off Cresswell, checks Chamizo over there at first. Deep breath. Now from the stretch. Here it comes. Misses low for ball 2. 2-2 count evens up here on Rocco Caballero. Looking for his first hit of the ball game. Hits aren't coming easy here for the Spartans versus Griffin Smith. Here comes the 2-2 on the way. Misses low and outside. Count is now full. Maybe Smith's starting to get a little tired up there on the mound as pitch number 90 will be approaching here shortly. No outs here, though, in the top of the 7th. Chamizo on first. Count is full. Here it comes on the way. Chamizo takes off. Swung on, fouled back into the parking lot. Watch out for the cars.
Yeah, dangerous spot to park in the parking lot.
Yep.
Even with this nice new net, it gets over the top quite a bit, actually, I would say.
It does. All right, we'll do that all again. The count is still full. Chamizo takes his lead there at first. Not a very big one. He takes off again, though. Foul ball. No, not a foul ball. Well, it will be, but it'll be playable there for Northrop there in foul territory for the first out of the inning. So a long at bat there from Caballero ends in a foul out there to Kyler Northrop. My bad. Forgot the R in the end of that name. Can't be doing that. All right. Jariah Lewis now steps in, the 5-hole hitter. Also 0-2 in the game with a fly out and ground out. So fly out, ground out combos have been the thing here for Griffin Smith. That first pitch in the inside part of the plate, first strike 1, good spot to be for Griffin. Jariah Lewis, senior center fielder, 0-2 on the day, hitting .243 on the year. The 0-1 on the way to Jariah, down low, good stop again, though. Keeping it front is Will Cresswell. He returns that ball kindly there to Griffin Smith. Shawnsby trying to block out the sun there at first as he's had enough of it. As it has been a very sunny day, though, here in Pullman. Can't complain. Obviously, up here in the booth, we haven't gotten the rays, but down on the field, they have. The 1-1 now fouled hardly down the first base line towards the visiting Spartans dugout. As the umpire gets a new set of balls there from Troy Shepard.
And that one went a long way. It went all 330 feet out to the wall.
Did, giving chase all the way down there as one of the Spartans players off. I believe he came off the bench, too, not even from the dugout or the bullpen. But the 1-2 on the way from Smith misses outside, so the count evens up at 2-2 now to Jariah Lewis with Jake McCoy, the only RBI man for the Spartans waiting on deck, big number 16. 2-2 the count, 1 gone here with Chamizo at first. He fake takes off. He faked me out a little bit there. Count's now full. So back-to-back full counts here for Griffin Smith as there is sign of some life there in the Cougar bullpen now. As Smith is now approaching pitch number 100. So pitch count for the past couple of batters has been up there. Count is full, though. Pickoff move back to Chamizo as it was predicted that he might be taking off. Smith, though, takes his Right foot puts it right back on the rubber. Another deep breath here. Chamizo takes his lead. Shawnsby is not going to watch him at first. He takes off. Swung on, fouled back behind the plate. Stay alive there is Jariah Lewis. Doing anything they can now are the Spartans to get Griffin Smith out of the game. Cannot blame them. Well, we'll do it over and over again. Griffin Smith's another full count here to Jariah Lewis. Chamizo takes off. Here it comes. And the same result as that one will foul back behind the good old trustworthy screen behind home plate. All right. Lewis taps the plate, taps his helmet, gets set again. My money's on another foul ball here, though. Here comes Griffin Smith, 3-2. No, not a foul ball. Skied high in the air. Chamizo will have to retreat back again all the way to first. Geez, he must be out of gas. Theo makes the play, though. Returns the ball to Griffin Smith for another popped out second out of the inning. Jariah Lewis got underneath that one. So it looks like Choate will leave Smith in for the game as he will surpass 100 pitches. So good to see Griffin Smith trying to get 7 complete innings here. Oh, wow. I've just completely jinxed that. as here comes Choate out of the dugout. Yep. Take back everything I just said. I think that was pitch number 96. So I don't know if he wants to see Griffin Smith throw 100 pitches, although he did his part today. Let me tell you, 1 earned run off 3 hits, but maybe Choate is just giving him a little pep talk saying, Griffin, you can do this. Yeah, it looks like there is not going to be a new pitcher. So I didn't hit the jinx. All right, there we go. Choate's just giving his little infield here a pep talk, as it is Jake McCoy to step up. So probably saying along the lines of, this is the guy that hurt you back in the second, but who knows? That was a couple hours ago.
Yeah, exactly. That was a couple hours ago, about around an hour and a half, 2 hours ago. So
yep.
Still a good offensive player, but the bats have definitely gone cold for the San Jose State Spartans.
Oh, 100%. Well, McCoy is 1 for 2 on the day. He had that solo dong back over the left field wall, and that ball is high and far. Watterson making chase, but maybe, it's going to be Watterson back towards the Cougars logo over there in deep right center field. So 1 pitch is all needed after that Choate message, and Griffin Smith throws 7 innings, giving up 1 run off 3 hits. What an outing there from Griffin Smith. As, ladies and gentlemen, it is time for the 7th inning stretch. 10-1 is the score of the game. Cougars up 9 here as the folks get out of their seats, ready to stretch those legs. This has been a long one, but this is WSU Baseball on KUGR Student Radio. All right, another pitching change here for the Spartans. Their 4th pitcher of the game will go by the name of Brady Pavlovsky, number 24. He's got 5 innings pitched on the year, so maybe the Spartans have given up on this game a little bit, as 1 run will end it due to the 10-run mercy rule here in college baseball play. Pavlovsky's a 3.37 ERA on the year. But in steps leadoff hitter Max Hartman, who watches a nice, 93 on the first pitch there from Pavlovsky. So Guy's got some power up there. So Hartman will step in for his 5th at-bat of the day. He's 1 for 4 with a RBI double back in the 5th. 0-1 on the way. Chopped right there to third baseman. Osorio, a guard, makes the throw over the cross to Chamizo to retire Max Hartman. As Cole Watterson will trot on in. Remember, as Ollie Obenauer did go out, we have no news for you here on what happened to him, but it did look like maybe just a pulled hamstring or a cramp. Hopefully not a pulled hamstring and hopefully just a cramp, and he'll be back ready to go in action for the game time tomorrow at noon. So 1 gone here, 1 up, 1 down here for Cole Watterson now. Oh, see, he stands so close to that plate. That ball looked like he was ready to wear that. I literally think he turned in to wear that pitch, but he ended up taking it for a strike as the pitch broke back towards the plate. 0-1 the count now to Mr. Watterson. Make it 0-2 now on another off-speed pitch here from Pavlovsky. Watterson, since stepping in from Obenauer, went down looking back in the bottom of the 5th. And he's now deep in an 0-2 hole here to Pavlovsky. 0-2 on the way. That is a beautiful spot. 93-mile-an-hour heater on the outside part of the plate. Cole Watterson goes down looking for his 2nd at-bat.
Well, now all of a sudden the Spartans can pitch.
Yeah, geez. Where did this guy come from?
1 run to end it, and then they decide to finally put in their ace, it seems to be, for the Spartans.
Well, that brings up Ryan Shonsby, big number 19. He steps up to bat, and he pops this one up. So the Cougs look like they go 1-2-3 in the amount of about 30 seconds here in this inning, as Caballero will make that catch to retire. And Pavlovsky throws 6 pitches in that inning, so 3 up, 3 down here for the Cougs. Once again, we are heading to the top of the 8th inning. 10-1, still the score, 9-run lead here for the Cougs. This is WSU Baseball, and you're listening to KUGR. Pitching change now after Griffin Smith's wonderful day. Went 7 strong innings, 3 hits, and only allowing 1 run in the ball game against the San Jose State Spartans. New pitcher on the bump, number 42, Trevor Stowe, comes into the game for the Cougs. And if you thought this game might be done soon, hold on, everybody, because Trevor Stowe's got an 11.88 ERA through 8 1/3 innings pitched. He's given up 11 runs. And this stat might hurt some viewers. He's living up 15 walks through 8 innings pitched. But nonetheless, here he is. First pitch is skied out there to Max Hartman now in left field. So 1 up, 1 down there as Max Hartman makes the squeeze there for the out on J.C. Osorio, a guard. Neil Jansen now, the DH will, oh, just kidding. Nope. Blue will tell me, hold up. We've got a substitution. That will be Drew Giannini batting the left side of the batter's box now. Number 4. I hope I said the last name right, but yeah, Giannini looks like it is. A pinch hitting there for Neil Jansen. First pitch from Stowe misses down low. Oh, wow. Down low from Stowe. 1-0 the count. Time taken there. As Giannini's going to make this his batter's box here. Coming into the game late. He doesn't care. Stowe's 1-0 on the way. Yeah, he did go. No, he did not. Held back there. Did Giannini.
That's a close one.
That was very close. But nonetheless, Giannini steps back into the box for his 2-0 pitch on the way from Stowe. That ball's on the inside part of the plate. Looked almost unhittable there from 92 miles an hour there from Trevor. Those inside pitches, if you're going to take a swing, you're going to get ready to hurt your hands.
Yeah.
Trevor Stowe's 2-1 on the way. Swung on, fouled back over our heads there on a 93-mile-an-hour heater. So Stowe's got that velocity. Stowe and Pavlovsky, the new arms in the game as of late for both respective teams here. Top of the 8th, 2-2 count, 1 gone here to Drew Giannini. And he puts a charge into one. Heading back is Johnstone, and that ball's out of there. A pinch hit home run for Drew Giannini. As Trevor Stowe, I was saying he was throwing that velocity. He really just got to get bat on ball there. And Drew Giannini comes into the game for Neil Jansen and puts a charge into that one over the Olerud sign there in right field. So 2 runs in the game for the Spartans, both by way of solo home run. Looks like we have another pinch hitter, Raul Fabian Jr. now. Pinch hitting here for Jake Maroney, so he's going to be finishing up the dirty work behind the plate. Maybe they'll put another catcher in behind there. But he takes ball 1 there from Stowe. Well, that ball was absolutely crushed.
Yeah, Giannini got a hold of that one.
Yeah.
And very similar hit to what we saw earlier in the game, but that one was just much more powerful.
Yep. Fabian puts a charge into a ground ball there to Thiel. Thiel makes quick work of that over to Shansby for out number 2. So, unlike Giannini's pinch hit, Fabian will go down there.
Now, you mentioned that Giannini took time and made it his batter's box, and then he smoked that one to right field. Last year, he played at San Joaquin Delta College in 2024. That's just 1 year removed from playing at that community college kind of level. Now playing up in Division I and coming in and getting a home run off a Division I pitcher is pretty impressive.
Well, back to the top of the order now, and Alex Fernandez, as he does what he does best and fouls that ball off behind the plate. I think Fernandez now, that might be number 10 foul balls on the game.
Now, going forward in this series, I imagine Fernandez is going to have better days than today, but it has not been his day on the diamond.
Not at all. And here comes Trevor Stowe's 0-1. Misses high and outside for ball 1, so 1-1 the count. 2 gone here, top of the 8th, in a 10-2 ball game, thanks to a pair of solo jacks from Jake McCoy and Drew Giannini. 1-1 on the way. Right down Broadway there for strike 2. A 91-mile-an-hour heater as fans in Pullman realize this game might be over and bleachers have emptied up a little bit. But we've still got a couple innings of ball here to watch as Trevor Stowe takes 1 deep breath. The 1-2 on the way. He swung on. That ball might be dropping, but it will drop foul down the left field line. So once again, another foul ball here from Alex Fernandez. He has seen his 401 batting average drop just below 400, now to 392. Still with a 1,038 OPS. So, I mean, this kid can hit the ball.
Yeah, and even on the day that he's had, still having a monster average, it just shows you how good of a player he is.
1-2 now the count. Still another deep breath. Shoulders relaxed. Here it comes on the way. And do I need to say it again? Another foul ball here from Fernandez on a 93-mile-an-hour heater. Let's see if Stowe will try to go with some off speed here.
Well, for Fernandez, he's got to realize he's not facing Griffin Smith anymore. There's no reason to keep fouling these balls off and back up the pitch count. He's facing Trevor Stowe. This is a totally new guy.
Tim Bessie has to keep replenishing on these balls. 1-2 once again, misses very high and outside for ball 2. So deuces are wild here.
Well, it is Parents' Weekend, and the moms probably bringing their purses, kind of like the umpires' bags down there. It seems like they're just full of balls. It's like a magic trick. They're always being able to pull a new one out. It's a bottomless pit.
Oh, 2-2 now, and Fernandez chops one there to Northway there, and he throws across the diamond and makes the play as Northrop retires Alex Fernandez. So came in a hitting 400. He's now 0 for 4 on the day. But Stowe, after a leadoff, or not a leadoff, Drew Giannini's solo home run makes a score from 10-1 to 10-2. Nonetheless, Cougars still up 8. This is WSU Baseball, and you're listening on KUGR. Another new arm out of the bullpen here for the Spartans. So day 1 of this 3-game series here in Pullman, and the Spartans going to the well now as 6 pitchers will be used, as Tyson Pereira, number 32, right-hander, will be out of the pen. And next up here to face leadoff hitter of the inning, cleanup hitter Logan Johnstone. Johnstone's already done a lot of damage today, and Pereira's first pitch sends the new catcher, we'll have to get a name for you, a number there, who's doing the dirty work now for the Spartans behind the dish. Sends him back for ball 1, though. That ball misses high for ball 2. As that will be, I believe the first pitch was ball 1, unless the scoreboard is right and I'm wrong, but I can never be wrong. Johnstone fouls that one out of play. Jack, wow, that is going to be a tough last name. Jack Venoncini, freshman catcher, will take over the dirty work there from Maroney behind the plate. As the count is 2-1 now on Logan Johnstone. He watches strike 2 down Broadway there. Johnstone, though, already a nice day on the dish. He reached on a fielder's choice back in the 4th, but he had 2 singles that came around all the way to score in the 1st and the 3rd, then went down looking in the 6th. The 2-2 on the way, foul ball. Well, we've lost a lot of balls here today.
Yeah.
A lot of foul balls here in action.
And they're going every which way. Some of them are going right. Some of them are going left. Some of them are going straight back over our heads.
Johnstone, though, here comes the 2-2 now from Pereira. Oh, that ball looked a little low, but Johnston will get K'd up looking there for back-to-back strikeouts looking there for Johnstone. He'll trot. Sorry, not trot at all. He will slowly walk back to the dugout. As Will Cresswell will step up to bat now. Will 0 for 2 on the day with 2 walks, though, and came around to score back in the 3rd inning. See if Will Cresswell can get the Cougs started here for a 2-run rally to end the game 1 inning before scheduled time. Cresswell, high fly ball, not going anywhere, though, is the right fielder Fernandez. He'll make an easy catch out there. And Cresswell hangs his head rounding first, and he'll get retired for the 2nd out of the inning. So Maybe the Spartans might want to put these guys in the game tomorrow. I won't give them any heads up, though, but 5 up, 5 down here for Pavlovsky and Pereira now. As Gavin Roy steps up to bat. Roy also, seems like every Cougars hitter today has had themselves a day at the dish. As Roy's first pitch of his at-bat is in there for strike 1. So Pereira doing nice work there. He's got an 0-2 record on the year. But coming in here, he won't get any decision tonight. Gavin Roy's, nice little breaking ball there from Pereira. He's got it figured out up there on the bump. 0-2 now, 2 gone here. Gavin Roy pounds his chest back into the box. He's got 3 RBIs on the day. He's 1 for 3 with a walk back in his latest at-bat in the 6th. And Roy pops that one up. Another foul ball coming right back behind. It'll hit the net, though. As as Jack was giving chase there behind the plate. Looks like he actually maybe could have made that play, but
yeah, if it didn't hit the net, I think he was on it. He was tracking it pretty well, and then it just took a carom wildly off the net. And
we'll call that the 10th defender on the field there for the Cougs, though. So putting in some defense there. The count's still 0-2, though. 2 outs here in the bottom of the 8th. As Roy puts a charge into one way foul, though, down the right field line.
Almost took out a light of the light post.
We can't do that. We got these nice LED light fixtures here in Pullman.
Yeah. Don't think they will necessarily have to use tonight as the sun setting and the shade starts to creep over, but who knows?
The 0-2 on the way. Roy almost offered that breaking ball down in the dirt, but good poise there from the kid, and he did not. So count moves to 1-2 now. The Cougs were hitting 460 before the past couple innings. Now we're hitting 364 on the day. Still pretty good as Gavin Roy goes fishing, and he'll run this one out. But Jack will clean that one up behind the dish. So a very efficient inning there for both Pavlovsky and Pereira there in the bottom of the 7th and bottom of the 8th, blanking the Cougars. Score still remains 10-2, though, with an 8-run lead heading to what should be the last half inning in the top of the 9th. This is WSU baseball, and we'll be back with more in a bit.
As we begin the top of the 9th inning, it's 10-2 Washington State over the top of the San Jose State Spartans. Antonio Nanez going to lead it off for the Spartans with Zach Chamizo and Rocco Caballero. The next batters due up for the San Jose State Spartans. 10-2 advantage for Washington State. Hopefully for them, the last half inning of the game, if they can avoid an 8-0 run for the Spartans, they would secure the victory. And here we go with Nanez standing in against Trevor Stowe, still on the bump for the Cougars. Here's the first offering of the top of the 9th inning, and it's strike number 1 to Nanez, who flew out in the 6th inning to right field. It went a little bit foul, and he had a really good bout with Griffin Smith, multiple foul balls, and this one is a high fly ball into right, and Luke Thiel, the second baseman, makes an over-the-shoulder catch in right field, right in front of Logan Johnstone, and he came all the way over from his second base position to make that catch, and I would imagine that Johnstone's probably telling him, I could have made that going forwards instead of you making it going backwards, but either way, it's the first out of the inning, and they are just down to their last 2 outs, are the Spartans, down 10-2. with Zach Chamizo coming up. The first baseman got a base hit in the top of the 7th inning. And here's the first offering from Stowe. And it's a chopper right up the middle into center field. And it's going to be another base hit for Chamizo, who's got his bat going late. But is it too little too late for the Spartans? They're down by 8 runs with just 2 outs left in this game.
You know, I would hate to say that it would not be too late, too little, but 8 runs with already 1 gone would be pretty crazy comeback here.
So Rocco Caballero, the shortstop, in for the San Jose State Spartans with 1 out and 1 runner on. Here in the top of the 9th inning, Washington State up by 8. This pitch is high, and it bounces off the mitt of Will Cresswell, and he corrals that after it deflected, and it didn't go past him, but it was really close. It was a high pitch, and that's ball number 1. So 1-0 the count against Caballero. Here's the pitch from Stowe, and that is in for strike number 1. And the count goes to 1-1 with 1 out. Washington State up by 8. They've put in 12 hits so far today. San Jose State just 5 hits in game number 1 of the 3-game series on this beautiful Friday evening. Here's the pitch from Stowe on a 1-1, and that is a little bit low for ball number 2. And the count goes to 2-1. Spartans were able to put in a run in the top of the 8th inning to make the game 10-2. When it was 10-1, they were able to push one across. Here's a 2-1 pitch from Stowe to Caballero, and that is strike number 2. So the count goes to 2-2 for Caballero with 1 out. And Chamizo at first getting a lead. 2-2. Offering from Stowe, swung on and fouled behind home plate. And the count stays at 2-2.
The fans chanting for chair, but I think all of us else are thinking, how about a ground ball double play?
Yeah, how about something to Roy, flip it to Thiel, and throw to Chomsky? That would be great.
That would be awesome.
So a 2-2 count for Stowe. And here's the offering, and a ground ball to third. Northrup on it, the flyer to second in time, and the throw to first to end the game goes wayward. And Caballero is wildly spinning around like a chicken with his head cut off, finally getting back to first. He went to go to second and then realized that the ball was being picked up by Chonsby, so they get 1 out to cut off the lead runner for the San Jose State Spartans, but Caballero does get to first. And so now just down to their final out of the game. Jariah Lewis, the center fielder, will be up next. The left-handed batter facing the right-handed pitcher, Trevor Stowe, but almost getting that double play that we were talking about. That one went to Northrup, and it was just a little bit too hot coming off the hand.
That was almost an incredible call by us right there. A ground ball double play. That would have been a gnarly double play, though, from a diving Northrup to Thiel to across the diamond to Shawnsby over there, but he was hustling down there. Was Caballero, so
a pinch runner in for Caballero. It's Jared Lewis, no relation to Jariah Lewis at the plate for the Spartans. Here's a pitch from Stowe, and that is in for strike number 1 on Jariah Lewis. So the count goes to 0-1. San Jose State down to their last out in the game. 10-2 advantage for the Cougars in the top of the 9th inning. Here's the 0-1 pitch and a check swing, and he went. So it goes to 0-2. Jariah Lewis looking confused, but it's an 0-2 count. They're down to their last strike of the game with 2 outs and a runner on. Washington State leads it 10-2 in game number 1 of 3 in this weekend series on Parents Weekend. The decades on the Diamond Night, it's the 70s. And it's an 0-2 count. Here's a pitch from Trevor Stowe, and a chopper down the third baseline goes foul. Count stays at 0-2.
Now, how many foul balls are we going to get in this at bat?
Yeah,
that will be the main question.
We're cruising along in this game, and then the fouls started to happen, and now we're into the 9th inning. 10-2 advantage for Washington State. Here's the 0-2 from Stowe to Lewis, and it is outside as Cresswell lunges over to make the grab, and the count goes to 1-2. So they've got Jared Lewis at first, pinch running for Caballero. Jake McCoy, who had a home run in this game, on deck if it gets to that point. Jariah Lewis with the 1-2 pitch, and he fouls this one down the third baseline. Staying alive in this game, San Jose State doesn't want to say die yet. Trying to get some sort of rally going, but they're down to their final out. So a 1-2 count against Jariah Lewis. Trevor Stowe leaning in. Here's the 1-2 pitch, and that is just a little bit outside for ball number 2, and the count goes to 2-2. A base runner on for the San Jose State Spartans. Washington State trying to end the game. The 2-2 from Stowe, and a swing and a miss, and they get Jariah Lewis, and that will end the game. Washington State gets the win, 10-2 over San Jose State. They start the series off with a bang. Griffin Smith gets the win. Nolan George gets the loss. What a performance by everyone involved. Washington State gets the 12-hit win over the San Jose State Spartans. What a performance on the diamond. And we move into the 80s for tomorrow with the game coming at 12 o'clock noon against the San Jose State Spartans. But Washington State gets the big-time win, the much-needed win in conference play to push them to 5-5 overall and 11-18 on the year. San Jose State falls to 17-13 on the year and also matches Washington State's total at 5-5 in conference play. What a performance by this offense today. 12 hits, 10 runs, no errors by either team. But San Jose State, just 2 runs today on only just 5 hits. So what a performance by everybody.
Yeah, offensively, I mean, anytime you put up double digits, I want to say anytime you put up more than like 6 or 7 runs really is just a great offensively game. Gavin Roy, obviously maybe my MVP of the game, coming up with 3 RBIs early. Logan Johnstone doing his thing, just putting bat on ball. And then Rico Longo also with a couple RBIs himself. So, it's hard to give a single MVP to the game, but I'd say Gavin Roy earned my respect there with a nice ground ball up the middle, base hit in the top or the bottom of the first to get the Cougs going. And then from there, it just really never stopped.
No, it did not. The offense got going early, and it maintained all the way through. Washington State wins it 10-2 over San Jose State. KUGR will be back tomorrow with a broadcast at noon, and then again on Sunday at noon to round out this series against the San Jose State Spartans. The final score from Bailey Bratenfield, Washington State 10, San Jose State 2. And from KUGR and Evan Suarez, I'm Davis Hagen saying so long from Pullman. Enjoy your evening.